for a few minutes and get
Yep.
myself a bit of ice and a drink, right?
Yeah, not a problem.
But I will be back. I'll be back.
That's good. Yes, so that is the start of the stream. I'm not talking to Paul. Well, I am if you're listening, but I'm just filling in some dead air while the stream starts and welcoming anyone who turns up. There's obviously nobody here yet, so I'm talking to myself. But that's the nature of the game. Who we got? Let's put on some chat so I can see when people turn up. And we'll come over to Discord. And I can have a look at there. Cool. Okay, transition over there. We'll go back to me. It's only me here at the moment. There. Fun stuff. We were... we'll see where we're at. I am just looking. I didn't want to play some of that stuff. Looking through blues. Spherical Axis. That's a long video. 4.5 hours. Or 4 hours, 40 minutes. So I got to admit, I had to skip through bits and pieces. I picked up a few things here and there. Right. I'll just put that up on the screen. I have to do that, and I have to do this. The things you have to do. Spherical axis measurements. There we go. I'll put that up. Just to have that ready when blue comes. What else will I have ready for tonight? I think I'll have a Lindsay, because some people like Lindsay. Well, he's interesting. I've got to say, he always gives Lindsay. You get something of to sort of say, huh? Which is really what we want to have. So it's Lindsay queued up. What else have we got? Ooh, I want to type something in the chat. I must have to set up some stuff. Maybe I can flick back to me and we can put up our chat window. Let's put up the chat window. That requires me finding it first. Hello, Mr. Chat Window, where are you? There you are. And if I go there and there, I can minimize that. Of course, nobody can see what I'm doing. Just chatting to myself, as you would expect. I'll put that in there. Then the chat does show. Ooh. Doesn't say a lot yet. You never know. I might be able to notice when people say things if I do that. So we've got blue. What else can we have? We can have one of these queued up. Always handy to have an Everett. He's always funny. I have that queued up. And we can do that. Let's have one of these queued up. Just in case. Still not many out there. What do we see? 9:30. Yeah. And people that would know about that. They like to know. Yeah, that's me. I'm just filling in dead air. Wonder. I was saying, you probably saw Blue put up a video. I don't know if you saw any of that.
Yeah, the one about the what is it?
Spherical excess.
The spherical excess. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't gone through the whole thing yet. I didn't watch it live.
I was a bit surprised. Rumpus was a bit confused about why, like if you've got line of sight to the points, he was trying to say that it was a planar triangle and therefore it should all add up to 180 degrees if you've got line of sight. But you might have line of sight, but you don't measure with your eyes, do you? You measure with a theodolite, and the theodolite's set up to point to zenith, and the zeniths aren't parallel, and that's why there's spherical excess.
Yeah, exactly. So, because yes, if it was all horizontal, but to do horizontal, you'd have to
align your theodolites with the plane of the triangle, and that I don't know how you do that actually.
Well, it'd be tricky. You'd have to pick a point that was going to be your reference point.
Well, you'd actually have to pick 2 points, Timbo. You'd have to you'd have points A, B, and C, and say if you point at point B, right? You'd have to align your theodolite so that it's perpendicular to the line of sight for both points A and point C.
Yeah,
and then you'd have to do the same at all of the other ones too.
To ensure it. That's what I'm saying. So you'd have to start at one point. You'd pick your other 2 points and then have somebody on those ones with a staff or something rather, so you can say, okay, this is the height at which the plane is, so that they can mark it and then set, so that when you went over there, or if you had 2 theodolites, set that theodolite at that same height. Then turn to the third point and then make sure the third point is the same from the other 2 points. So effectively, at each 3 points, having to check back to the other 2 points to make sure you're a 9, and then you would have established it. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
and for no benefit.
Yeah, exactly.
You've just now got a horizontal plane that's referenced to one of the 3 points.
You've just now proved that non-spherical triangles add up to 180.
Yeah, because then if you then go to, so let's say your reference point is A. After you now established where the horizontal plane is, you go to the other one and then you try and turn back. It won't line up. So at points B and C, the turning back to point A isn't going to be perpendicular to the vector. So
yeah, that's like what I said. What you would have to do, you would have to spend a lot of time setting up your theodolites so that at a particular point, it is perpendicular to the line of sight for both of the other points. So you'd have to be turning your theodolite backwards and forwards. So if you're at point B, you'd have to be turning your theodolite backwards and forwards to point A and point C, and making sure that your zenith is at 90 degrees to that line of sight for both of those points. And once you've established that, then you could use your theodolite and turn it from point A to point C and measure the angle in between. But it'd be a hell of a process. It'd be like a trial and error, and keep on making adjustments until you get them both perpendicular. Before
But why? It's like you've now done that, and now you go to point D, and it has no relation to that other triangle.
Well, you'd have to do the same at the other points, and that way your perpendiculars to your line of sights would all be parallel. But for what reason? I mean, all you've done is establish perpendiculars that are parallel, but why?
Yeah, to one particular point in space.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
And that point may not be of interest. So you'd have to be very particular about which point you're going to start with. And so,
and the whole point of doing the triangulation is to actually find the spherical excess, to calculate the radius, so that you can, in fact, measure the distance between points. That's the whole purpose of doing that.
In Geodesy, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you ask why did they spend so much time actually, you know, mapping out the 39th parallel or whatever parallel they want. You know,
It
like,
was, yeah.
yeah. Why do they spend so much time doing it? Is it just because they're bored and got nothing to do? No.
Oh, we got someone. Here he is. Sounds like the farmers is there.
No, it's not me.
No, it's not you.
Just
No, it's
sitting there
Tankman.
looking at the snow coming down.
Snow.
Well, oh, well, it was proper snow earlier on. The tops of all the cars were white, but it's a bit sort of a sleety, half-hearted effort now. Yeah, we're having another little cold spell. You know, you can tell it's spring because it's fucking snowing.
Yes, it was cold here too.
Uh,
We're talking about. Did you
I
watch?
mean, obviously,
Go on.
we're just getting the edge of it. It's up north that's getting it all.
Just so you know, we are live, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you may have
I
realised,
know.
but it's always good to make sure people are aware of this. They don't get a surprise. I have to say something. They realise that they've broadcasted it to the whole of the world. Do something silly, like, oh, I'm going to go. Let's talk to my ex about something.
No, ain't gonna fucking happen.
Yes, we're talking about the spherical axis, which has become a bit of a thing. People are finally reading the 900-page the American one survey in America. And that's only one survey. There's the other 15 billion ones that, well...
I did catch a little bit or bits of when Witsit came into Blues live stream the other night, but I went to I listened in and I thought, oh bugger, the Rumpus is in there, right? I won't bother joining in because I can handle him in real life, but when he's a voice in the internet, you can't really control him. You can't have a proper conversation with him, and he just won't shut that up. And then I noticed later on, I thought, oh, Witsit's in here. Oh god, I'm not joining in. I'm not listening to this rubbish. Poor old boy, he ain't got a clue.
No. Well, he doesn't really study it, and because he doesn't actually want to do the work, he just wants to say, oh, blah 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 blah. This is a problem.
Oh, they
show us the math. Yeah, go on.
Oh, hello. I'll be back. That's the doorbell.
That's the doorbell. Oh, I got someone. Matthew James. G'day, Matthew James. How are you? Keeping track of what we're up to. Ooh. I just realised I've got chat on what's the window. I didn't notice that. Ah, good. Glad to hear you're okay. I'll give you a spanner just in case. Not that I've ever seen anyone try and kick somebody else out, but you never know. But just make sure that I don't get a troll come in and be silly. Ah, you still there, Paul? You ran away. Oh, there's Finn Frundle.
Yeah, now I'm here.
There's Finn Frundle. He hasn't been here for a while. Oh, I need to actually. If I share in Discord, then you can see what I'm seeing. Save you having to flick between two screens. Where's what am I sharing? I've forgotten now. That one. It's just what I've got it going out at the present. Yeah. I was
And unfortunately, Timbo, when you share in Discord, it doesn't come through on my computer for some reason. I don't know why, whether it's my graphics card or my computer or what. All I get is the two orbiting dots. That's
Okay.
and I don't see anything else for some reason.
No, well, I'm putting it up there more because Alan, when Alan's in, he finds it. Well, Alan and Farmers. If I play anything, that way I can play through Discord and I don't have the 20-second delay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was because I was trying to go through Blue's thing. It was pretty long.
Point generate.
Yep.
So I was trying to work. Initially, I was trying to work out what he would stream about, but obviously he was talking about this, and then they must have jumped in later.
Right.
Queued up. His Farmer's back.
That's Mr. Amazon delivery driver taken care of.
Oh, did he? Did you bury him in the backyard?
No. he's as most of them are, he's foreign, and I'm guessing Eastern European or something. Of course, I said, "Oh, yeah, Carl, don't hold you up in the snow." And we're having a quick chat about it. He said, "It's spring and it's snowing," and I just said, "Welcome to England." He quite like that.
Well, it's a bit of a cold snap here today. Well, colder than it has been lately. Like we got down to about 12 degrees, so enough that I had to get out of the shorts. My legs were getting cold. My legs were getting cold.
I've got a high of 2 degrees today, and it looks like it's going to be snowing on and off all day. But it's starting to warm up tomorrow, and then by the weekend we're back to normal again, and it will just be wet.
Okay. More wet. It's Dora.
Yeah, well,
Dora.
we're very good at doing sort of grey and wet and bleh. That's typically our weather this time of year in the UK, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
And every now and then we get those sort of bright, cold, sunny days, but generally it's just bleh.
This blur. Dora's here. I could have used Dora the other night. We were playing GeoGuessr. She could have told us where we were.
Oh yes, she'd been good. Yeah, been good at that.
I'm trying to somewhere over that way.
Yeah.
I'll just.
Yeah, this whole sort of surveying and spherical geometry and all the rest of it is just another aspect of reality that they have to deny because they're denialists.
Yeah. I think it's funny because this is not, when whenever this was done, just after the Civil War. So what, 1870 somewhere in there. I should know. I was typing in data today. I typed in some stuff for Turn.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd think the likes of Bev and that would understand it. I mean, being geometry aficionados, so-called geometry aficionados, that they'd be up with it and know all about it and suss it out and know the difference between spherical geometry and planar geometry and Euclidean geometry and whatever, but they don't.
You'd ask him, can you look at this? Can you look at this and explain what it is? Obviously you're a surveying expert. So,
it's because he's approached this from the angle of being a flat earther first, and he thinks he's found some aspect of geometry that he's cherry picked that can confirm that the Earth is indeed flat because level is horizontal and all that old bollocks.
He runs around telling people they're model afflicted, but to be honest, he's Euclid afflicted.
Oh. He's more model afflicted than anybody else. I mean, the projection that Bev does is off the charts. Everything he accuses us of being, he's that 10 times over.
Yeah,
he's accusing us of evasive wordplay and all the rest of it. Well, he's the fucking master of that. You're a model afflicted. But you are. Everything you said, everything you state and assert is a flat Earth model. Everything. And you've been a flat earther for years, regardless how you say, "Oh, I was just joking." No, he's been a vehement flat earther for absolutely years, and he thinks he's found another way of tackling it, another way of saying, "Oh, look, the Earth is flat." Because if you look at all these flat earthers, all the ones that are still around and have been for years, they've all followed a particular little way of doing things and stuck with it. You know, if you obviously Oakley he just swears at people. That's his thing. Travis is all about refraction, and that's it. He won't talk about anything else. That's his. But they've all got their own individual little aspect they've chosen. And Bev, for some bizarre reason, has gone down the geometry road. And that's why he has to say, "Oh no, spherical geometry, it doesn't exist." Because as soon as you start looking at that, oh dear, the Earth's not flat, you know.
And then he got his pants handed to him the other day when they gave him a geometry problem, and he completely failed at basic high school geometry.
A really easy one.
Yeah, a real easy one. Yeah.
I mean, that's the sort of stuff we were taught. Christ, I'm trying to think what age we were taught that now. I mean, that's. I'm sure that was that middle school, maybe. I can't. It's too long ago. I can't remember when I was taught all this stuff. You just remember doing it. You just can't remember when.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
You know, the whole argument we've been having him on Twitter, and he's sort of saying, because of course he's asserting that a 3D object can't have a 2D surface. And when was you taught that? And I'm thinking that was definitely either late primary or early middle school. I mean, around about the age of, I don't know, 10 or 11, something like that. I mean, you were covering surfaces and volumes before that, but you know, I was never taught that at school, and my friend says that was never taught at school. Oh, really? Your friend? What is that? Your invisible friend? Is he a big invisible rabbit or something called Harvey? I was never taught that at school. No, you were too busy munching on the crayons and licking the windows, weren't you, Bev?
Yeah. Well, you hear that quite a few times. Oh, they never taught that at school. Or we did. Well, either you had a bad education or you weren't paying attention.
And then they say, oh, you're indoctrinated at school. Every classroom's got a globe in it. And I'm thinking, no, it hadn't. I don't actually remember being at school and having, you know, the traditional globe on the mount at an angle on the desk. I don't remember seeing any of them anywhere.
I don't remember seeing them at primary school, but the only room that had a globe in it was the geography room in the at the high school.
Yeah.
No, I literally don't remember seeing a globe in any of our classrooms in any of the 3 schools I went to over the years. I just don't think it was a thing, you know.
Like each room, a particular room at the high school had an association with a particular faculty. Like there were a group of rooms that were the English classrooms, and there were a group of rooms the science classrooms and the maths classrooms, where mostly those sort of classes were held. There were other classes held in them too, but in general the geography classes were held in a particular room. And in that particular room, you know, for the reason that they could put maps up on the wall and have their globe there, and you know, all sorts of other geography things around the room that they could then just leave there and use, instead of having to cart them off into a back storage room or something all the time, you know.
I mean, they could well have been. I just don't remember it. But then there's an awful lot of my school years I've just blanked because I really didn't enjoy it.
Well, that's fair enough.
Why are you treating us like kids? You are kids. Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot. I hated it.
Yeah, it's not so much that you had, even if you weren't taught at school. It doesn't. You know, you have some sense, but it doesn't take you long to sort of work it out. The ones that say, "Oh yes, I was a big glober or a big science person," you say, and then they'll quote things that like, "Oh, they won't know how the planets work or how daylight works," or you sort of say, "Well, how can you not know that?" And then supposedly say you used to be a glober.
Well, you ask yourself, how can they not know that? But then they come out with a thing like, you know, I was presented with flat Earth and I sat down and I tried to debunk it, but I couldn't. And that basically says it all, doesn't it? If you can't debunk flat Earth, then I'm sorry, but you're off with your theories. You got no hope anyway.
You can see why these people have become flat earthers, because they're so appallingly dumb in the first place, you know.
Yeah. Well, definitely no critical skills to sort of say, okay, well, because even if you said, I can see some things, you're going to have to come out with questions. There's so many questions that you sort of say, well, how does this work then on a flat Earth? How does that work on a flat Earth?
Yeah.
I
didn't need to be taught. I didn't need to be taught any of that at school. By the time I finished primary school, so when I was 9, it was from primary to middle school. I was reading Isaac Asimov. I was a big sci-fi fan. I was following the developments of the space shuttle because it was only a couple of years later that they launched the first one. I mean, so I was well into all of that. I didn't need anybody to tell me what the shape of the bloody Earth was. I already knew. Looking at all these incredible photos taken from space and wishing I'd been a bit older so I might have been around for the moon landings. I mean, technically I was for some of them, but I think I was still in nappies.
All right, I'm typing stuff in. The value. Yeah, okay. It's close enough.
Oh yeah.
No, I just had that up on the screen, so someone was asking a question. Who was it? Dave Cannabis just wanted to know what the question mark was. I was explaining that was the thing. Can you work it out? Maybe it just seemed too obvious to me, but we'll see if other people can work that out. Yeah.
I can tell you, Bev was one of the 99%.
He failed. I thought it was I don't know. Maybe because they had to actually do calculation rather than just, it's this and this, so it's therefore. Didn't he say 9? That was what I was told. I didn't actually hear it. But
Yeah, he did. He said 9 because he made assumptions that he shouldn't have made. I mean, he just assumed that there were things about the diagram that were correct, and he was wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he just thought, you add those two values together, so it must be 9. That's all right.
Shouldn't make assumptions.
No. Diagram's not that far off, Yeah. Not far enough to throw you off. I was going to see if Blue turned up because I was going to have a look at some of his video, but I might do that later. I'll do some Lindsay in a sec. I have Lindsay all queued up, I'm afraid. So.
Damn, I've already got my drink.
You've already got your drink.
Need to go and get another drink.
you should have to wait.
Yeah. I hadn't long made this cup of tea either. Bugger.
G'day, Judy. Good to see you. Yes, sorry. I should have planned it. Okay.
Mind you, it's cooling off a bit. I might have to freshen this up.
Oh dear, I've got no answers out in the peanuts for that question mark. Oh dear. Okay, this is question number 1 of the quiz tonight, people. So, see if we get any answers. Shape on the screen. You've got to work out what the question. What is the value of that length represented by the question mark? And no, it's not 4.
Yeah, but the answer to everything is 4.
And it's not 9, Judy. It's 9.
It's not 9.
And it's not 9, Judy, no.
I admit to being a non-episode.
If you say 9, you're one of the 99%.
9, 9, 9.
9. 9, 9.
I actually have the answer here. Yeah. Look, there you go. That's how you work it out. So if you have 3 and you have 3 and you have 4 and 5, then it fixes the position. So effectively you could say you're sliding that. You should be able to see my cursor, yeah.
Because vector addition is commutative, you can add them in any order, Timbo.
Yeah. So effectively for those graphically, you could pull this line over to here and that line down to there. So you end up with an 8x4 triangle, which will give you that hypotenuse, which will give you, because then you've got this and this, and you'll end up with the value of 8.43. There we go. Look, Matthew James got it. 8.43.
No, that's not correct.
Not 8.43? What is the value?
No, that's an approximation, Timbo.
Ah, it is true. It could be. He could put some more values in there. But it'd be good
But you'd
enough for me.
still be wrong,
Places you
wouldn't you?
moved.
No matter how many decimal places you went to, you'd still be wrong.
According to some people, yeah. Anyway.
Because it's a irrational number.
Yes. Look, if you gave me 8.43, I'd be happy.
I'd be even happier if you told me the square root of 71.
Yes, you would be. Anyway.
Because the hypotenuse of that large triangle is 8 squared plus 4 squared. That's the square of that length. And then you've got to subtract 3 squared.
Oops, I went off it. Yes. Right back there. Square root of 71 would be a better answer. More accurate answer. It's really not straightforward. Okay.
I mean, here's a real tricky one for you, Timbo.
Yeah.
What's the fourth root of 1?
I don't know. I barely know what the second one is.
Oh, okay then. What's the square root of 1?
I know the approximation of it.
What would that be?
1.
And
1.141, isn't it? Something like that.
no. The square root of 1,
Square
not
root
2.
Of 1, not square root of 2. Sorry, square root of 1. Well, I'll go 1. Once I got past the square root
But
of 1,
there's another answer. I mean, if it's a square root, there's 2, right?
Yeah.
What about minus 1?
Minus 1 times minus 1 will give
Is
1.
is 1, yeah. So you'd expect the fourth root of 1 to have 4 answers. 1 is only one of them.
Oh, okay. Well, that's annoying.
Yeah. So minus one is another one. All right, because minus 1 times minus 1 times minus 1 times minus 1 is 1. But what else?
So then do you get into infinite possibilities of that?
No, you don't.
So minus 1 times
No.
minus 1 times 1 times 1 is a
No,
possible answer.
that wouldn't be a fourth root then.
No,
you've got
because it's not the
different
same.
answers.
It's not the same answer. No, not the
Yeah,
same
you've
number.
got to have the same thing multiplied by itself 4 times to get 1. So 1 and minus 1 are 2 of the fourth roots of 1. But what are the other 2?
So 1 times 1 times 1 times 1.
Yeah, so 1 is one of them, and minus 1 is another one of them.
Another one.
But there are 2 more.
I don't know. Obviously.
I times I times I times I.
Why I? Do I had I?
Yeah, because I squared is equal to minus 1. So I squared times I squared is minus 1 times minus 1, which is 1. So I to the power of 4 is equal to 1.
And J is the other one.
And likewise, minus I to the
Would be
power of
the same.
4 is equal to 1 as well.
I can hear farmers are the same as me. Yes, that's very interesting. Never used it in my life. But
I
very
hear what you're
interesting.
saying, but I'm going through my emails at the moment. Because I was there yesterday, and it's like, how many emails?
J is I for engineers. Is it?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. There you go. Okay, look, I'm going to put on a Lindsay just because I need to.
Oh, it's physicists, which are real scientists, not engineers. We use I.
I always wonder that. Do we consider engineers scientists? No, I think we're too practical to be
No.
scientists. Not that I'm an engineer, but
I am definitely not a scientist.
I do science, but I'm not a scientist.
Engineers don't use I or J; they use a hammer.
I use a hammer. I use a saw. I usually cut stuff away. I use a hammer after they've cut something because it doesn't fit, so then you use a hammer to get it to fit. You know, when you don't want to cut off too much and you just cut just not quite enough, and you know, if you
In the education industry, a hammer is not called a hammer; it's called a knowledge implanter.
all right, yes, fair enough. My brother doctorated me to call it a persuader. That's what you call a hammer.
Or if the customer's in the garage with you, it's the calibration tool.
All right, yes.
You don't mention your mate. Yeah, just bring us the lump hammer. What? Get the calibrator.
Did you drop out Dora because they both used I and J and you didn't like it either way? Okay, whoops, I don't have him up on the screen. Let's put him up on the screen. Let's listen to some other dope. We've got to put him on. So Lindsay's telling me that the sun is going to be quicker than
Welcome
the
to
sun.
the Tomb of Illumination.
You can hear that okay?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can.
This is over then. Let's put him up on Lindsay speed.
Oh, Lindsay speed.
Everything's
Yes.
about our earthly realm here, and specifically, it's flat. It's about the flat Earth. So I've been explaining how it all works compared to the globe. And today's video is going to be about why the sun is quicker than the stars and how it works. Because a lot of flat earthers think the stars are 4 minutes quicker than the sun. And we've been led to believe that with the globe. I'm just going to show you why the sun is the quickest. Apart from the fact that it's on the inside track of the entire ecliptic plane, the sun
Quickest.
does a small circle. It's basically what Polaris does, doesn't it? The sun does a small circle. You know, when you've got all the other planets outside of it. Nothing passes the sun. The sun catches up. It's quicker. It's got the most power, most energy. Plus you can think of it as being on the inside track. In a horse race, the horse out here isn't going to beat the horse running around the small circle, is it? No. So the sun is always quicker than the stars.
Sometimes it does.
The stars
Yeah,
aren't on the ecliptic
yeah.
plane though. They're in the main vortex. They do an S-curve, 3D S-curve in the vortex. But the plane is at the top on the horizon.
But if that was true, they'd be getting
The sun
further away
moves
and
quicker than
coming
the
back
stars
again.
spiraling up and down. So I'm going to show you. So this is the flat Earth looking down on it, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So let's just work on the northern hemisphere, okay, as a circle, as a clock. And just show you what's happening. So let's say the sun turns up at 6 in the morning. So there's the light. So let's say half the globe, if you want to call it a globe, or half the flat Earth, is all the stars. There's stars everywhere, but they're all lost in the light of the sun, right? Over here, they're all exposed at night time, whoever's on the night side. So the sun turns up there, and all time is solar time, right? Atomic clock time, actually. Atomic clock time is all about the sun back here we do not see. Not the up and down ecliptic
What
plane
time?
of the sun we see.
The
It's all
atomic
fixed in there, in that
atomic
small
clock
circle.
time. Whoops. Atomic clock time. So how do we tell time before the atomic clocks?
Absolute guesswork.
Well, solar time.
Wow.
Okay. Anyway, we'll see where he goes with it.
Like I just explained, on the inside track of the ecliptic plane. A consistent circle. No variation in seasons. Atomic time is taken from that. But anyway,
Atomic time is taken from that dot. But doesn't his sun doesn't sit there, so what's the datum? What's the reference? How does he know which way is north? Oh, like how does he know which way is east for us?
Is atomic time different than clock time?
Today. It's off the window.
Oh,
behind
dear.
the whiteboard. He has moved. He used to have it right in front of the window. But anyway, yeah. Hey, but he's lost his other whiteboard.
That's true.
I suppose, though, Timbo, like you must admit that an atomic wedgie is different than a wedgie.
It's true. Put atomic in front of everything just makes it faster and better, doesn't
That makes it bigger and more powerful, right?
it? Yeah.
So the sun turns up here at 6 in the morning. So they're all lost in the light of the sun, and you've got your stars out here. So the sun is quicker than the stars by 4 minutes. 4.1, I think it is. 4.1 minutes. So if we freeze this at 1 day, that's the image. But the next day, you could say it's come around 4 minutes, but we don't, because we're working on the sun solar time, so it stays there in the same place. But the stars would have dropped back 4 minutes. So this is really hard to explain if you do it this way.
Oops.
Stars dropping back 4 minutes.
There you go. Sorry.
People can't understand it. They just keep saying that the stars are quicker than the sun. So I can't explain it that way. Best way to explain it is to say 6 a.m. is now around here. So that's now the sun. Okay? So if the sun has crept around there, then guess what? The star has come forward by 4 minutes. That is now night time. Down here, the sun's chewed it up. It's now lost in the light of the sun. That's how you explain that the stars turn up 4 minutes earlier, as people think, but it doesn't. So the star the night before was stopped there. This was lost in the light of the sun, but now the sun has moved forward that little bit. It exposes another star. Something has to fill that void, because daytime's shifted, so night's going to have to shift around that way. So now because that star's turned up here,
Where was the star before that?
I didn't know. I lost track.
I was trying to follow. I was like,
It was 4 minutes before that. That's why.
oh, right.
But what he doesn't understand is that like that 4 minutes is not just an exact 4 minutes. It actually changes throughout the year. How much it changes by. It's to do with this equation of time. And what's it all about? It's all about because the elliptical orbit of the Earth around the sun means that the length of the solar day isn't exactly 24 hours, and it's not even the same amount. It varies by quite a bit throughout the year.
Yeah. The other bit that's throwing me off is he said, "Oh, we've moved the 6 o'clock an hour forward," but yeah, that's an hour. Which it's not 4 minutes. Anyway,
right there, instead of being back there the night before, everybody seems to think that the star's quicker than the sun. No. It's sidereal time, solar time. That's the best way to explain it, actually, without confusing anybody and myself, actually.
doesn't explain it though. It doesn't explain it.
So,
No, and I think he's actually shown that he's quite confused.
it's just the way
I think he's just worked out himself that doesn't make any sense.
it is. The sun is quicker than all the celestial bodies. Nothing can pass the sun. Retrograde is the sun, the planet, so there's the sun, there's the planet. You're told in science that the planet's going like this. No, they're not telling you it's actually the sun that's gaining on the planet. Then it buries the planet in the light of the sun. Then the sun moves forward, and what happens? The planet seems to be going like this. When the sun gets further around,
That's even worse.
then you start noticing that the planet is going this way. When all along, they were both going that way in the first place. But look, the sun catches up to it, goes over it, goes like that. And after a while, it's going like this. Then
When it gets there,
look,
it goes,
see, it's that way now.
How does it get back to the start?
What the hell are you doing?
This is weird. I'm going to try it. Let's see if we can do it
Planet,
again.
sun. Sun's gaining on it. Both going the same way. Both going the same way. See? Sun catches it. Oh, look looks like the planet's going backwards.
I get the impression even he's not happy with what he's made up this time.
No, because he's trying to say, "Oh, it looks like the sun's going back. The planet's going backwards." No, it's still going the same speed.
Planet's going backwards because the sun's racing ahead, right? No, they're still going that way. Together. Do it again. So they see the sun here, and because they're going like that and the sun's catching it, they're trying to tell you that this is slowing down, going back this way, because the sun's gaining on it. No, this is how it works. There's no loop.
Whoop, they're going the same speed now.
Then it goes like that.
Has changed.
Look at that, he's a paragon of hand-eye coordination, isn't he?
Oh, is he what?
Absolutely ridiculous. All the ancients knew how this worked. It's all written. But it connects you with your human spirit, the human brain, your soul, everything. And this is what the Freemasons do not want you to know. They do not want you to know how you are connected to this realm. They want to control your mind with the physical shit. NASA, make-believe, material things above us. There's nothing above us, nothing physical above us, except planes and stuff. It's just like when you throw...
And satellites, moons, planets.
hot water into a cold atmosphere, it turns to steam straight away, doesn't it? But if you tip...
Sorry, did he say when you throw hot water into cold atmosphere, it turns into steam?
I tell you what, you try that down in Antarctica when it's minus 60 degrees Celsius and you don't get steam.
That's what it's not steam that he's. I think he's seen, the ice crystals. When it freezes in the air, and he's calling it steam.
Yeah.
Material things above us. There's nothing above us, nothing physical above us, except planes and stuff. It's just like when you throw hot water into a cold atmosphere, it turns to steam straight away, doesn't it?
No. Yeah.
But if you tip cold water into there, it would turn to ice. So imagine that.
Didn't he just contradict himself?
If that happened in our earthly cycling system, that ice would fall on us and kill us. That would be a really dumb design. This is why you need to understand the Earth's recycling system too. How the warm air comes out of here into the comes out of the tropics into the central vortex for the recycling system, and that warm air hitting the cold turns it to spray, teardrops.
I just worked out what he said. I think he's trying to suggest that if we have the hot air hitting the cold atmosphere, it would turn into ice and drop and kill us.
Steam.
Unbelievable.
I think that's what he's trying to say.
Mist, whatever you want to call it, falls
Pretty
back
good
down
even
to
for
earth.
him.
Isn't that what hail is called?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not how hail's formed, but yeah, that's how it could be hail, yeah.
Man, if that wasn't didn't have that temperature, the heat in that Milky Way, if it wasn't quite that temperature, how would that work? Cold. The hydrogen molecule would freeze, turn to ice. Then it would fall in big chunks of ice. Bang, 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 bang on the earth. Not exactly a scientific explanation, but it's just part of it. Knowing there's non-physical above us, physical below us.
Well, you're not known for your scientific
So we understand
explanations,
this.
so that's okay.
Solar type won't really move forward like this, so you can imagine the it's the turning vortex of creation. The stars turning there and the sun's on the horizon turning. So it's not moving in this clock, but obviously it's moving. The sun does rise at a different position than when it comes to the ecliptic plane, right? So the sun does move around a bit, like that. So the way I've described it is right. So you've got to imagine the sun jumps forward, then the star will jump forward over here. So it's still 6 a.m. because it's solar time. Okay? Still 6 a.m. solar time. But the
6
star
a.m. where?
has jumped forward by 4 minutes. Doesn't
But
mean
why?
it's quicker. It's just because the star is back here, the original one, the day before. So that's it there. So you can't see the star quicker if the original star is still way back here. We've just added 4 minutes more of stars because the sun moving forward that 4 minutes. So this is sidereal time.
So does that mean there's now the stars duplicated itself?
Back here is solar time. That would be solar time if you're going to count the other next 4 minutes. Okay? Pretty straightforward. Oh, guys just aren't getting this. I can't explain it better than that.
No, you can't.
So we'll leave it at that. Okay? I came up with this weeks ago. I've lost track of what the heck it was about, but the lettuce.
Surprised.
Lettuce very good for you out of the garden. But apart from that,
That's thanks to
an ancient
people.
fluid from around the pineal gland. That's what this lettuce is. Flows to the heart. This is the elixir. Lettuce. The
What?
anointing oil is what mixes with the blood through your four ventricles.
What is he on about?
So the four ribs in the holy story, or four ventricles of the brain.
What's it got to do with lettuce?
But lettuce is connected with this elixir fluid from around the pineal gland.
Now notice it's got lettuce in ancient text. What ancient text has lettuce?
Oh
in it?
yeah.
I can't say. I can think that lettuce. He's saying it, as in the stuff you find in the garden. Snails like that sort of thing.
And ask me to go any deeper than that, I can't remember.
Okay, I just did a quick Google search.
Guys.
Yeah.
Lettuce was considered a sacred plant of the reproduction god Min,
In
and
what?
was carried during his festivals and placed near his images. Hang on, let me open up the full Wikipedia page because I'm not familiar with the deity Min.
Yeah. What theology? Is
I mean,
that?
he's definitely saying lettuce. He wrote lettuce on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, okay. It's to do with the ancient Egyptians. Evidence of its cultivation appearing as early as 2680 BC. Considered a sacred plant of the reproduction god Min. The plant was thought to help the god perform the sexual act untiringly. So there you go. Go and eat your lettuce.
Okay.
Get those little blue pills, apparently.
Apparently, yes. There you go.
how-
Let us go.
Well, I mean, rabbits like lettuce, and what they say about rabbits.
Well, yeah, true.
Yes, they're very tasty, but you need a few of them.
I don't know. Our rabbits are pretty big. I can't say I could eat.
Oh well,
more than
we have
one
our own version of big rabbits over here, but they're called hares.
Okay.
They're a completely different species, and they're actually easy to hunt because those buggers don't dig burrows. They don't dive down a hole when they see you. Their idea of a burrow is literally a scrape in the ground.
All right.
That's it.
But they can.
They're
run
easy to
really,
shoot.
really
Oh, Mike, they can change direction like one of those light cycles out of Tron. Just when you're about to pull the trigger, he'll do a 90-degree turn, hang the back end out, and you. Wait, no, hang on a minute.
Hey, Paul. G'day.
Yeah.
Alan, how are you? Sorry, Paul.
I'm fine. I'm here for a little while until the monsters arrive.
Okay.
What, the big ones and the little ones?
Yeah,
And so the monsters
the
are
really
coming.
scary ones.
So the monsters are coming, and your grandkids as well.
Exactly. Like I said, the big monsters and the little monsters.
Monsters. Yes. I was going to put on this. Here you go. Can I make this bigger?
Let me tell you about him.
I think I can make this bigger.
It's not somebody repeating the nonsense about Picard again, is it?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
You know who this guy is? Let me tell you about him. Auguste Picard was the first man to ever enter the stratosphere, years before NASA ever existed. And he did it in this thing.
And a balloon
If you look
attached
him
to
up,
it.
you'll see that he was the first person to observe the curvature of the Earth. And in his journal, he wrote that the Earth was as a flat disc with upturned edges. Kind of a weird way to describe curvature, don't you think? He observed this 10 miles up into the sky, which is in the stratosphere, and 35,000 feet is the commonly accepted height at which you are able to observe curvature. He was at 55,000 feet. Was this guy a definitive flat earther? No. And neither is this proof for a flat earth. But it makes you wonder. He's a scientist, man. He observed it.
Well, what else do you expect on TikTok?
Yeah, quite.
Yeah. Yes, we get a bit of that.
Yeah, but Auguste Picard did ultimately give us Jean-Luc Picard.
He did. I was going to
So,
say that is
yeah.
where Picard came from, which is probably more
Yes,
important.
the two brothers. There were two brothers Picard, and that apparently is where Roddenberry got the name from. I don't think it's one or the other. It's just the pair of them. It's like Picard. Oh yeah, that's a good name. Yeah, we'll go with that. They were clever buggers. We'll use Picard.
Isn't Picard what Ralph does to his nose in The Simpsons?
That as well. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That game you play when you're really bored. How clean can I get my nostrils?
Yes.
As I saw that described in a Pratchett book.
And Picard is terrible. Oh, Dora's saying Picard's terrible. She's talking about the series. I haven't watched it. Yeah. Netflix series.
It's okay. It's okay, but it's. I mean, I'm only watching because it's got Jerry Ryan in it, of course.
Oh, okay.
She's aged very well. It's 7 of 9. Yeah, she's
7 and 9, still there.
Oh yes,
Yes,
he is. She's quite good. I mean, it's all right. It's not what I'd call a classic work in any sense of the word, but it's entertaining enough.
enough to watch, I think.
Yeah.
Here's another typical flat Earth evidence. Therefore, we must have had a big battle.
Oh, good grief.
They're,
Well, I think that's bad. You should see the other side then. That's got most of it. Bloody hell.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
I mean, the far side of the moon's a right mess.
and also the lack of concept about, first of all, it's not always the same side facing us. But anyway, that's something they get wrong all the time. But anyway, as I said, we don't expect this is globe skepticism on Discord, so you can imagine the sensible posts we get on here, like this helicopter keeping up with the rotation of the Earth. Yeah, okay.
He wants to be careful because there aren't that many helicopters that can actually fly inverted. There's a few, but not many.
Okay, let's play. Guess what he's going to say. What do you think he's going to say? What's his proof? Game over.
What, other than something appallingly stupid? I don't know, it could be anything.
Okay.
It really could be anything.
Oh, 2 seconds, see if you can work it out.
You think you're gonna teach me about perimeters, do ya? Alright, let's do that. Pay attention closely. Let me
It's like...
show you.
Yeah,
Oh dear.
make it bigger.
How this is done. You're going to see me follow the perimeter around Antarctica with your Google Earth measuring device. I know some of you are going to say that those little dips that I'm not following somehow make 33,000 miles. So I got a little treat for you in the end. Just watch and you will see. I am doing the big ones so I could be as accurate as I can be on my rough estimate. But as you're about to learn, you don't know what you're talking about. Even though you like to say I'm the one who doesn't do things properly, I'm going to show you how much land you would need to cover to make that 33,000 mile mark even work. It's looking an awful lot like Antarctica might go all the way around the known world. So any one of you globe lovers want to explain to me why, in order for me to get to that number to go all the way up to 33,000, I had to circle the entire Earth? Explain that on your globe model. This one's for you haters out there. Enjoy.
Yes.
Your ball is dead.
I don't think it proves anything.
Dear.
I assume somebody told him that the perimeter of Antarctica was 33,000 miles. I don't know where that one came from. I'd have to follow some more about this one. This
Well,
one,
I'm sure you can measure the perimeter of Antarctica to be 33,000 miles.
Well, I mean, a
Measure
quick
the
Google.
perimeter of
Sorry, Alan, but yeah, a quick Google search just shows that the Antarctic coastline is 30,000 kilometres long.
yeah. Okay, so there you go. It's not 30 miles anyway. So, I could do it. Maybe I'll do it up while the video is. I could pull up CAD and pull up Antarctica and see what the actual measurement is. But let's move on. Yeah.
Well-
I don't think he gets that. Yes, all that tiny little islands and things can actually add up to quite a bit.
Well,
That's right.
a quick look on flatearth.ws.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure when these dimensions were taken, but at the time, the perimeter of Antarctica's ice was 53,610 kilometres, which is obviously more than the equator. But that's measured all the little twiddly fiddly widdly bits and the ins and the outs and everything else. It makes a hell of a difference.
Yeah, and just on another side, there's another part of the search. It says the coastline of Antarctica is only 17,968 kilometres.
Yeah, I don't know. Where's
Yeah,
getting that from?
that would be the coastline of the continent and not the ice.
Yeah, exactly. Which is
The ice covers a
11,000,
damn sight bigger area.
which is 11,165 miles, which is pretty close to what he actually got, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if it did, what does that prove? Anyway, it's a number. This one, I thought, how fake do you think this is?
Oh, it's not Devon Island again, is it? Oh.
Nah, I think
Oh, really?
it's a
Really?
moon pitch. Yeah, yeah. Yes, definitely real. Of course, there's no way that's possibly fake, is it?
Oh, no.
The other thing I thought funny was when you look at the you go back to where it's supposedly looking at and trying to work out where is that in the image, right? Can you see, can't see it there?
Nope.
So doesn't look like there's a mouse when you look there. So
Nope.
yes.
And certainly not. It's not there, and not to that
11.
resolution, unless he's used them. Unless he's used that magical bit of software that all the CSI programs have. Oh, just sharpen that up, will you? Oh, yeah, look, there it is.
Enhance. Enhance.
Enhance. Yeah, right.
Enhance.
This isn't Blade Runner. You can't take photos and then digitise it and look round corners. I wish you bloody could, but
Is a Blade Runner? They look into the cornea of the eye, so we're able to see someone's looking back. Yes.
there's
And
a bit
read-
where
and
he's
read
found
numbers.
the photos of one of the replicants.
Yeah.
That the replicant's taken, and he's loaded it into his machine, and he pretty much analyzes the photo, and he goes around the corner, and he finds the reflection of somebody, and it's just like, well, hang on a minute, that weren't in the bloody photo. I know it's sci-fi, but come on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And left, enhanced. What?
I love it when they're able to read details like of the tiny print on the inside of a driver's license or some text that they can They can read. Yes.
Yeah.
It's only
Well,
so
Timbo,
many.
24 minutes to go, and I'm still the highest bidder.
Oh, Paul's going to get some speakers.
Oh, what you? Speakers. You've been on some
I put
speakers.
a bid on eBay. I saw these Klipsch, they're older model R28 speakers, R28F speaker package, a five pack set for $1,200, and they'll buy it now for $1,600, but the lowest bid was $1,200. And thought, oh well, I'll put in a bid. I probably won't get it. Who cares anyway? I'll just do it. I'm the only bidder, and I'm winning at the moment.
Yeah, but you wait till you get to the last 5 minutes.
It's not.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's not.
You think, oh yeah, I've got this. It's like, where did you lot all come from?
Well, I was kind of expecting not to get it, actually, Farmer's Boy. I just sort of like willy-nilly put in a bid and thought, oh, well, I probably won't get it anyway, but I don't really need them right now, but looks like I might be getting stuck with them anyway.
Oh, dear. I did.
Not that I mind. They're actually half decent speakers, so...
Yes. I worked for a charity. We did top-end stuff to take to people who were housebound. And we were looking at speakers. They were $5,000 each. And they weren't the best. We did end up able to get some money for them, but yeah. They were pretty. They were very nice sounding, but yeah, it's a lot of money. Anyway, hope you get them. I thought I did play some of Blue's stuff. I thought Blue might turn up, but I haven't seen him, so he's been busy. He's probably asleep.
No, not this again.
Yeah, I'm not going to play the whole...
Oh, you were there. You were there
You
for
were
the first time round, weren't you?
All the
I
way
just-
through.
I don't think I played it.
Like I said
before.
earlier, I just saw that Rumpus was there and thought, nope.
I thought we might play it again for you, Alan, at half speed.
There was the classic equivalent of the unstoppable meets the immovable with Whitsit and Rumpus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. I picked out a couple of little bits because, yes, it's 4 hours, 4 hours 40, which is a bit long. I don't intend to go anything close to that. Maybe a few minutes here and there. I've got to admit I haven't watched the whole lot, so...
It's drawn a lot of attention has been the transcontinental triangulation of the 39th parallel, right?
Whitsit versus the world.
Now that thing
yes.
dates back to, when did they start doing that, Larry? Mid-1800s?
Yeah,
it's post-Civil War. If you look at the in the full disclosure of their raw data, almost everything is date of observation, and some observations on the eastern seaboard they go back into the 1870s, a couple of them for 1860 and the like. And when the further you go out west, then there was a push and a campaign initiated in the late 1880s, which spanned the big distances, like from the Mississippi to the ocean. But you look at the dates, some of these things are brought together from measurements that were done, 20 years prior, 15 years prior, 10 years prior.
Yep.
So, the field books and measured data, it was accumulated.
Yeah, it was done over quite a long time.
Well, particularly when you're dealing with the eastern seaboard and the like, but when they made that big push west, that's when you see the dates compressed to like an 8-9 year period.
I have sped this up a little bit.
There were triangulations that ran north and south along from Maine to Florida, and those are significantly older. And that data carries forward. I mean, once it's measured, it's measured. Case in point, those locations, particularly out in the west, they're still there. You can go back and remeasure them today, right? Or you could just use the measurements that they had. It's not a matter of authorship.
Yeah.
They swear in pre-electronic world, longitude was very, very difficult. And this survey here had the marvelous technological advantage of having time transfer by telegraph, which was magnitudes more precise in longitude control, which again was a good scaling. So you can measure, you have the measured distances by the triangulation, and you have the longitude differences measured by astronomy and telegraph time transfers. Now you know the shape of the Earth. You know the dimensions. You know the dimension of 1 degree of longitude at that latitude.
Right.
And the cone it generates.
Yep. Well, that's where the 39th parallel is. That yellow line that I just put up there on the screen. That's the 39th parallel. And it starts over on the eastern coast of the shoreline of the Chesapeake Bay.
I was going to say I was going to pick up on Blue on that because where does the 39th parallel start? The survey might have started
Everywhere.
there. Yeah, it didn't really start somewhere. Yes, the survey did start on one side and go across the other, but yeah, technically the 39th parallel didn't start there. This point to note, the 39th parallel isn't a great circle, but some people think it is, which so the radius would be different because it was coming up.
You know, and if you were a Bevtard, Timbo, you'd ask, how the hell did they see the rod at that distance?
Yeah, that's right. well, I know how they did see the rod. I'll find it.
Yeah, because you couldn't possibly do surveying without a rod, right?
Yeah, no, and that's how measuring angles most of the time. Yes, you could. Yes, I think this would be well beyond them, the way the survey's been carried out, because they're not doing planar survey and definitely not using order levels. Just the calculations themselves would be. Sorry, let's escape out of here for a sec. I've got some stuff up. We're looking. This is the vertical circle calculations, and as you can see, the sort of information you're getting here. And that's what I said. I showed this to Bev and said, "Okay, explain that. What's it saying? What's P? What's T? Why do they have long S?" And you go down the other document. Why did they? Because all the measurements they did for temperature during each day and all that sort of stuff's all recorded in here, and all the other measurements of the angles and all that. That's a lot of stuff. 900 pages of it. So, good fun stuff. Yeah, we get back to our friend. So,
Sort of due east of Annapolis, I think.
Skips a lot of this stuff in a second.
And runs to the west coast up north of San Francisco. So that's the thing that they're talking about when they say the transcontinental triangulation of the 39th parallel. That's the 39th parallel.
Yeah. Now, Alan, you were there, weren't you? So you might save me some time. You there?
I was kind of there. I think I might have fallen asleep for a bit of it, though.
So my understanding, because I haven't watched all 4 hours, that most of this first bit is them talking about the 39th parallel, the survey, and what went on, etc.
Beginning blue and
Rumpus.
forgotten his name.
Rumpus?
No,
Was it? No.
His Discord handle is Shoebill, but he's Larry. Somebody.
Yes,
Oh,
Larry.
okay.
Yeah, he's a surveyor.
Hey, I think it's if I skip up here. Was he still in here? I know this is pretty potato camp, but
Yeah, if you Shoebill, that's Larry.
okay.
The lowest.
Shoebill.
The lowest C.
Shoebill. Yeah,
Shoebill,
was-
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's Larry.
So that's who that was on. Because I know.
That-
So gone.
That's who was talking to.
Yeah. So I got the impression the first bit was them just talking about the survey itself, and the data that goes through that. I had a marker here at about 2 hours. I don't know why I had 2 hours, but yeah, for anyone who's not
They'd be
familiar.
even larger by some tens of arc seconds each.
I won't go through that because for most people it will be dry as, but effectively that's each point. They measured the angles back to each of the other stations, right? And so they would have done a lot. Gone.
Zenith angles.
Yeah. Zenith angles as well as triangle azimuth as well. So yeah. Like if you read through the thing, they didn't do. They did all sorts of measurements, and then they did a whole lot to get the azimuth angles. They would have had to taken a lot of. I think according to Shoebill, I'm not sure his other name, they were doing 18 sightings and then averaging, which is a lot. So 18 for each angle measurement. So I got the impression that they talked through this for quite a bit, and then they get some visitors. I don't know quite sure how that went on. I've got a mark here to play somewhere at about here, somewhere 54, 53, 54, somewhere about there. We'll see what happens.
Okay, now when taking these data and adjusting, and you have a highly redundant data set, one needs to be very careful about over-filtering, without a doubt. And depending on how much redundancy you have, the least square adjustment will take care of itself. And generally,
Larry, you're not tackling his point. Larry, he's claiming this Clark procedure is inserting spherical excess. You need to tackle that.
Generally, you have a threshold of about 3 standard deviations before a flag is inserted. And in this 1900 report, there are some asterisks of observations not included, and they're damn few. But they're still
Larry, you're missing the point, Larry. The point is he's claiming this Clark procedure, whatever it is inserting spherical excess into the data, and he doesn't believe it's just a statistical thing that you're talking about. So you're not answering his question.
Yeah, he's talking about Whitsett now, isn't he? When he says he.
No, that was Rumpus.
Oh, that's Rumpus saying it, but Rumpus is talking about he. Isn't he talking about Whitsett?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it would be handy if you could actually show the live chat, because I think this might still be at the point.
Yeah, it gets into the live chat with Whitsett. Whitsett
came in on voice and then disappeared for a bit, and then came in on voice and disappeared for a bit.
Okay, I'll have to find that.
But initially,
later.
of course, doing a lot on the YouTube chat too.
Yeah, I have got him when Whitsett's on later. So what you're saying is Whitsett came in at some point before this. So I'll find that later on for my own benefit. But
it's a bit confusing.
Yeah, I do have because my next time stamp is an hour after this. So.
Well, he said he needs to look into the Clark method, which I think you do, because I went and started reading through that as well. Well, there's a lot of information. The Clark paperwork is a huge document. This is 900 pages as well. That's why I know that you probably know more than all the other Glovers, but you haven't read the whole thing. And that 99% of these anti-flat earthers that pretend they know all about it don't know shit about it. Okay,
you know nothing about anything, so you're supremely.
My point is, it says it runs through the Clark method. It says use a spherical coordinate system, but like before you even make your measurements, you determine your positioning, your location based on spherical coordinates using astronomical coordinates. Okay, that's what it says, astronomical latitude. And then what it says at the beginning of this document is it explains that they've been correct, like updating different surveying methods, and this is built upon other surveying data. A lot of it's built upon assumed data from the other surveys. And then it says that this is the first time that they used a latitude correction, a spherical latitude correction in this survey. That's what it says.
That will not be in the raw data.
Okay, yeah, that's in the adjustment process.
Exactly. This is the point you've been making repeatedly. You're conflating the corrections with what they do with the raw data, and you're trying to present it as though the raw data's had this applied to it, and it hasn't.
Wait. How is it when we're about to make an observation and we're determining our location, right? So that's before adjustment. We're determining our location before adjustment. Okay.
The data is the angle, the azimuth that they measure between 2 points. That's the data, and then that's averaged. Then the position about where there's another issue. The point is the data that's averaged is just the data that's been averaged. And then you're claiming this data's had all sorts of spherical excess inserted in it, and it hasn't.
No,
you're just making it up.
That's not my claim.
It is your claim. You're saying this Clark method is introducing spherical excess effects into the raw data that's being measured and averaged. Yes, you are.
No. First of all.
Yes.
What? No. Okay. What I actually am, my current understanding, which I'm certainly open to being wrong, is that the observed angle is actually run through a weighted equation. So you take your angles, you have like your predetermined window based on your spherical coordinate system, and based on what it's
spherical coordinate.
Can you please
stop?
Data.
You've just made some.
Yeah. Sorry, just clarifying that. But I think they explain it.
Something up. It's just simply data. The measurement of azimuth is just simply a thing you record from the instrument. And then they make 30 measurements of it, and then they do averaging on it. No part of that is involved in messing around with spherical excess or spherical coordinates.
Well, don't they? I have a question. Don't they just write down the observation?
Yeah,
right?
No.
Don't they just write it down?
No,
well, they don't put that in the paper, Brenda. They then average that, and that's the information they put in the paper will be an average of, say, 20 or 30 measurements. So they don't actually put that data in the paper.
That's what you guys say.
So the point, you keep on trying this trick, of claiming that there's some adjustment that's been inserted into the raw data, and it has not been. That's a subsequent adjustment to do with position things. It's not to do with the observation of the azimuth.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
There we go. Whatever we do, don't let Whitsett make his point. Whatever we do, then there'll be a harder.
I just want to clarify. They make multiple observations, take an average, and then that's written down. Is that correct?
Correct. That's what.
Cite it.
Cite it. That's how it's done.
Larry described.
So you're going to say, Paul? Go on, Alan.
No, I didn't say.
I mean, I meant Alan. Sorry, I didn't.
I was just the whole as Nerd Alert put in the side chat,
Excuse me.
Witness seems to think that a least squares correction for the average is the same as applying curvature.
Yes, it's not, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's trying to say that, yes, they take all these values and then somehow apply it. Anyway, let's see where that goes.
Procedure to you earlier. Sorry, Ben. Larry described how surveyors do this, and so you rejected. And when I pointed this out, you wanted to evade that point repeatedly. Larry pointed out to you how surveyors do it, and you didn't want to accept it.
No, listen, this is the problem, okay? If every time I'm making a point, you guys have to say, Larry, what about this?
You've ignored Larry's description of the procedure, and then you come up with some excuse for not understanding what Larry told you, and it's implicit in the procedures that is used in this surveying.
Are you guys actually confused why flat earthers don't come here? Because it would be because people like Rumpus are here and they don't like to talk.
You don't listen to the answers, do you?
I can't even finish my point ever. So if every time I have to make a point, you have to turn around and say, Larry, what about this and that? Maybe you should just let me talk to him.
Yeah, but you didn't listen to what he told you. You keep on asking, where's it written down in the paper that they just averaged the data? Larry pointed out to you what the procedure is. Now, I haven't read the paper, so I don't know if they do explicitly. But if they don't, then it's implicit in what Larry was saying is the procedure they've used for hundreds of years to do this. And you seem to be questioning that.
Dude, you haven't read the paper, and you got this much of.
But I've got Larry here who tells you what the procedure is, and they've done the same way for hundreds of years.
You let me talk to him, dude.
But you didn't listen to his answers, did you?
You have such an ego, man.
You didn't listen to his answer, did you?
I was literally in.
Sorry, I'm going to pause that because yes, it's Rumpus versus Whitson. That is Rumpus, isn't it? I know it's sped up a little bit, so. It carries on like that. Then I got another one. Why have I got 340 here? What's it, 348? Ish.
So whenever I sit down with Mattoon and I'm trying to get him to agree to a live debate, and I pull my iPad out and share the screen and I run through trigonometry faster than you guys can, you know, are you just going to finally let go of the fact that just screaming you can't do math doesn't make the earth a ball, you know?
So it says. Hold on. So what I read was, it says,
where are you quoting from?
Yeah, we leave.
Yeah, I'm just going to slow this down for a sec because I got a little bit quick.
And yes, we did hear the dulcet tones of Terry.
Angles, entering into the triangulation.
So did you say that sounded like Terry?
No, I said it is Terry.
It is Terry. That's what I thought.
We did hear the dulcet tone.
That's why I was slowing it down because I wasn't sure if it was just the. So Terry is the 10:48. Where was I? Back here. That was going to be my question, actually. Was that Terry? Because it wasn't on the side, so I couldn't see who was speaking.
See, that's what. Where do you think you get the weight from?
Well, you weren't here when I read the other part where it says everything was given an equal weight.
Everything was given an equal weight.
Yes.
I do remember reading that.
That was only for.
But
that was only for a couple of them.
But the difficulty of properly estimating the relative weights and the extra labor of making the computation after they have been introduced make it advisable to assign equal weights to all observations.
Yeah, keep reading.
The actual computation of the coefficients in absolute terms, that's talking about an equation, I think, is therefore much less laborious than would appear from the form shown in another equation, number 6. This computation is also considered shortened by grouping together all series in which every one of the D signals were observed. All series in which D, what is it saying? D minus 1, D something. Signals were observed and so on. Anyway.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure right after that it explains that approximations have to be made because it's basically such a dense formula.
It says what I just read to you.
Yeah, but right under it, it explains that the equation is such a heavy equation that approximations and assumptions have to be made.
It basically says it doesn't make enough difference that it warrants all the extra work.
And it also is pointing out that additional computation is warranted. This is to get the publishing of the raw data and an adjustment, a preliminary adjustment for further study. And this was, and at the end where it says preliminary output, yeah, the final output was not published for years because of that computation.
Yeah, but why does it?
Because the assumptions were carried out. They were not assumptions later on. But at this publishing, they point out expediency to get it published for the academics to investigate.
Yeah, but if they're just talking about smaller triangles, then this doesn't help you guys. So, like, what's going on when what he read that it says that they actually apply corrections and weight prior to the input into the triangulation, applied to the observed angles?
It does not say that.
What does it say?
Read it again.
I'm driving, man.
Have him read it again. It didn't say they applied that before the observations.
Yes, it did.
Read
it says
it
before
again.
it's put into triangulation.
Weights to the individual directions, angles, entering into the triangulation were introduced. Thank you.
Because, I mean, we're going to get to the bottom of it, right? I mean, like, I can give you my perspective. My perspective is that whenever you hear an alleged globe proof, all the anti-flat earthers are so sure about it, and they all repeat a script at you. It's usually flooded with ad homs and gaslighting and stuff. And then when you get all the way to the bottom of it, you find out that what they said isn't true. And then one of two things happens. Either it's just ignored, or usually the latter. They just double down and repeat the script over and over. And so that's just my perspective. Like, I'm not making any claims about what's going to happen. I don't really know, but like, that's my experience.
It sounds like a claim to me.
Consistently. I know one thing, that like people like Brenda pretending that they're teaching me about this because they're repeating the misunderstanding of Mattoon, is not globe proof. I think we can all agree that if they go in and they reference a Clark ellipsoid model, and then the Clark method says, well,
like I pointed out earlier, there's a lot of things they didn't put in there.
I got a note
but
around here.
Over 180 are just margin of error. And if they're taking a weighted mean, it gets even worse, right? Because say you take a weighted mean, it's
They're
like
also the only time that occurs is in the small triangles. Yeah.
You mean where the measurements are more accurate?
No, small triangles. Small triangles.
That's it.
The spherical excess is not easily observed.
Yeah, but are the measurements more accurate? Yeah, of course.
No.
Mark seconds. Mark second.
In a small triangle, in a 2-second error in a small triangle is no different, than a half a second error in a large triangle.
That's totally irrelevant to my question, which is, are like shorter measurements more accurate? Everyone knows the answer is yes. Duh, surveying 101, I thought you were a surveyor, but this is a part that I find very interesting. This is what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. If it's actually a weighted mean, if the observed angles are weighted mean, and some of them are below 180 or outside the margin of error, that's really bad for the globe, because that means that even applying the weight distribution in favor of the reference spheroid, you still were below 180. And that means it's nowhere close to the globe prediction.
I read it to you with it. It says specifically that every measurement was assigned an equal weight when it came to the evaluation of
you would apply the spherical excess formula to correct that to the corrected column. You guys are claiming that they apply both of them after the observed angle to the corrected column. Well, you have to claim that, right, based on what you've said.
The question was, do you think all of this questioning and wondering is going to make the spherical excess go away?
If they have to bake in a reference spheroid, then yeah, I would literally do that. Yeah, take
Why don't you write that out and show it to us?
Yeah, okay, but this is why I keep saying it's like you guys always shift the burden of proof. You keep saying that. Yeah, you keep saying that.
Yes. No, you are the one that keeps saying that they baked it in. So you have the burden of proof to support your claim. You're the one that specifically said during this video and last week, specifically you claimed that they baked it in. So you have the burden of proof to show where they baked it in and how they did it.
Okay, well, actually what happened was you made the claim that they just took a raw average and that's what the correction column was. That's what you said. And now we've discovered, no, apparently the average is how you get the observed angle. And the
Austin, you're deflecting from your very specific claim for which you have a very specific burden of evidence that you will need to support. You specifically claimed in this video and last week that they baked in the radius of the Earth. You have the burden of evidence. You have the burden of evidence to support that claim. Now, you will deflect from your burden of evidence because you know you can never do it. Go ahead and deflect.
No, I actually fully intend on getting to the bottom of it, and I specifically stated that I don't know everything about it. But
then why are you even in here talking about it? You clearly don't know anything about this, and I get that. So go ahead, go back, get out your pencil, get out your paper, get to work, show the math, find where they baked it in, find the step of the process where they baked in the math.
You've been shown to be wrong so far, so why the arrogance?
I've certainly not been shown to be wrong so far.
Yes. Yeah, wait, let me lay it out. Watch, you're going to interrupt me. I guarantee you, interrupts us. So whenever we were first talking, I said, so what did they do for the correction column? What was the correction that they applied? And you said, they just averaged out the observed angles. And then you pulled up a graph that showed intersection point. You said, that's what the correction was. It was just an average. Now we know for a fact that's not true. Okay. Now
I'm sorry, Austin. For a fact, they were definitely averaging out the intersecting points so that they could have corrected intersecting points. There's like Larry was saying earlier, you get a constellation of intersections. You need to get your least means, your least squared average of those points.
What Larry was saying is that you were wrong. That's what he was saying.
Oh, well, is Larry here? You can maybe.
Yeah, sure. You claim the correction column
is
just the average.
Is Larry here?
Can you just admit the correction column is not the average?
I'm sorry. Is Larry here?
Can you answer that question? Is the correction column just
somebody other than Austin, since he won't answer the question? Somebody other than Austin specify if Larry's here, because I don't.
You're the one that's scared of the question.
But Blue Marble, is Larry here?
I don't know.
He's muted at the moment.
Okay.
And can you admit that the correction column is not just factoring in the average? Crickets.
Timbo, if you remember back to the beginning of that section, Larry mentioned it took a while to get the full survey out.
Yeah, it did. A year or so. Yeah.
The preliminary survey that they're talking about was took them about 2 years after they finished doing all of the surveys.
Yes.
It then took them another 26 years to do the computations for the full thing.
Yes.
Because remember, this was in the days when a computer was very often a woman sat at a desk with a mechanical adding machine.
I'm not even sure they did then. We're talking 1900s, I suppose. So, yeah, I suppose they would have had mechanical. Definitely by the end. Definitely by the end they did, yeah.
The preliminary that they were talking about was published in 1901.
Yeah.
The final thing was published in 1927.
But still a lot of calculations. I know from typing in the stuff, because I was typing in some stuff of it, that's not all each individual measurement. So they would have had to take 18. Then the back sights returns, so that's probably about 36 numbers for each angle. And then they've got to apply the least squares to that. So there's a reason why you don't see all that data and why this is all typed out, because that's all the handwritten data. Yeah. I wasn't going to play that, but I would recommend anyone who is interested listen through that conversation. I think it's going to be a bit more of this stuff coming up for a little bit. This is the current theme of Flat Earth at the moment. You'll get a lot more. Let's pick something a little bit more lighter. Put on one of these. Something a bit different. What do we got? Oh, here you go. Cannot dispute Flat Earth.
Unmute.
Unmute? That would make it better.
Unmute. It would.
I'm talking out here talking and pushing that the earth is flat, you know what I'm talking about, all the way, man, on everything, though. Straight up.
You serious?
Man, ain't got nothing they can really come through and refute nor dispute behind that in a real, logical, scientific way.
Are you hallucinating? Huh? Man, those research assholes sure fuck you up. What makes you think that, man?
Because everything they bring to the table can literally be debunked, man.
Funny Bot, I've been talking it over with the fellas, and actually, we think what you're doing is genius.
Funny Bot is simply pushing the limits of comedy.
Yes, you certainly are. And for doing that, we have all decided to give you a comedy award.
How can what they saying be all the way 100% factual? I'm just saying, I really want to know, though. You know what I'm talking about? Why not? Let's get to the bottom of it, though.
Excuse me a sec. What are you babbling about?
You feel me? Nah, gravity don't exist. You can't prove it exists. Yeah.
Are you stupid or something?
Stupid is as stupid does, sir.
Ain't got time for that no more, y'all. You feel me? We ain't about to keep taking in and just playing this nonsensical game that they keep pushing on us, man. We ain't doing this no more, period.
What do I need school for? Tony Danza never went to school, and he played a guy named Tony on 4 different TV shows.
I'm making big sense. You just denying it, yo. Talking about all you got is a nut, because it's flying over your head. It's too much for you to grasp and understand.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I can prove Earth is flat by debunking your beliefs that it's a ball. Straight up.
Yikes. Well, good luck with all that.
I can debunk your space belief. I can debunk your gravity belief. Without y'all space and gravity, all these nonsensical claims they push on y'all, you have no ball.
Do me a fucking favor. Shut up, listen, and learn. You have no brain.
You can't survive on the ball if you can't get up here and prove your ball. You can't be living on the ball. You can't get up here and logically prove you're living on the ball.
This doesn't make any sense.
Nah, nothing makes sense here, man. The only thing that does make sense is that nothing makes sense.
Yeah, it matters a lot if the Earth is flat because we all need to unite and get up out of here, Jack.
I'm not crazy!
I want to know how they making it out into space, y'all, when they can't even make it through the magnetosphere. Yeah, the magnetosphere.
2 things, okay? Shut up.
If you come up here and I have any logical argument,
I swear to God that never happens.
True.
You're done. You're done. You're done.
I'm impatient with stupidity. My people have learned to live without it. I'm afraid my people haven't. I am very sorry. I wish it were otherwise.
There you go.
There you go. Oh, God.
Well, that's an argument too. I think they're
Everett is always funny.
Yes, at least he's short. He breaks it up a little bit. He does. I spend a lot of time on TikTok though. I see. More time than I have.
Yeah, so we don't have
You don't, sorry?
as he spends a lot of time on TikTok, so we don't have to.
Yes, he
Yep.
can listen to them.
Good lad.
He's doing us a service.
Certainly
I
is.
I think the peanuts can see what's coming up. Just in case anyone was in question. That's the advantage of having little things. Well, while that's playing, I can get other things queued up. Time. I must.
I see.
I must get a big ominous bit of soundtrack to play here. Maybe I should set up a deck with some appropriate sounds to play at appropriate times. I don't have something for this. So there we are. Timbo's Twisted Torture Test of Terror. I don't think it's that tortured this time because I think I did this in a bit of a hurry. So maybe. Yeah, I have gone through it, but yeah. Let's start. Okay, are we ready for a quiz? Who's ready for a quiz? Anyone? We do a quiz.
Yeah. Are we
a bit early,
Are
but
we going
that's
to get
all right.
to see it inside? Or,
No,
Yeah, are
I
we
thought-
going to get to see it, or we got to watch YouTube?
What I was thinking is that yeah, you will. I was thinking that I could we could do the questions and for the peanuts to see, and then you guys have to work it out. No, we won't do that. We just change the share, and you can see what's going on. We'll change so that you can see that one. So there you go. Oh, you can see it in the peanuts can't. Hang on a sec. Let's change that. Okay, there we go. Here we are. Here's a 3-second quiz. That's for question number 1. What should I put here? I did this because I couldn't think of anything else to put here. And I said, what should I put here? Okay. What should I put here? And then I thought, oh, let's do what sign goes where to make up 48. What do you reckon? You have to think about that one. I just thought, was it 2 divided by 1? I don't think that got me very far. They're thinking. Larry says 3. 3 what?
8? 3?
It didn't take me long.
Me. Obviously, we can just yell out the answers when you're ready. That's fine. Ask. Okay. Ask, which he's a mathematical whiz. Yes, he is.
I think you can accuse him of being many things, but possibly not that.
Not a mathematical whiz?
No. Don't know.
No.
The big question, Timbo, is do you have to follow order of operations in the answer or not?
I thought you did. That's how when I sort of thought about it. What do you reckon? It's quite possible that there's some different answers. No, not I, says James. What's James saying? Not I too. Okay, Paul, put him out of their misery. Oh, can you hear any answer? He ran away.
I mean, 6 8s are 48, right? So if you do 2 times 1 is 2, plus 6 is 8, and 8 times 6 is 48.
Yeah, that's what I did.
But strictly speaking, you're supposed to do the multiplications before you do the addition, so that's not quite right, right?
Yeah, true. So, there was another way to do it. What was I thinking? That's another way, 48. 42, so 8. What are 6 8s? 2, 4. So there, that didn't work if we did it that way. But yeah, there we go. Let's move on. I think everyone's gone to sleep. Okay. So that's the way. Okay.
Name the song. Oh dear.
Okay, so what I did for the in-betweens is give some lyrics. And you've got to work out the song. Girl, you know I want to love you. Your love was handmade for someone like me.
Not ringing any bells.
It's an Ed Sheeran song.
Well, that's why I don't know it then. Ed fucking who? Ed Sheeran. Do me a favour.
See if I get any answers out in the...
I might know him if I tripped over him, but if I tripped over him, I'd probably put a few kicks in as well whilst I was at it. Ed Sheeran.
And see if you can Google fill it out in the peanuts before I give you the answer.
No, I don't want Ed Sheeran in my search history. Thank you very much.
You don't? Oh, we could have it come up.
No, Ed Sheeran.
A song you may like to play. It is The Shape of You, which is a very popular Ed Sheeran song, believe it or not. It's not Fleetwood Mac, Dora. No,
allegedly.
Sorry. Okay.
Never heard of it.
Out on the wily windy moors, we'd roll and fall in green.
Yep, know that one.
Oh yeah, you know that one? We'll give it a sec out in the peanuts, see if any answer comes in.
She's been out of the limelight. Well, actually, she had a bit of a resurgence in the last couple of years due to a certain streamed series.
Nerd Alert's trying to rickroll us.
Yeah, it doesn't work in a side chat, mate.
Yeah.
And yes,
Yeah.
look, they're all getting it because that's a very easy one.
Yeah, there you go. Kate Bush, Wuthering Heights. Okay.
Like I say, due to what was it? Stranger Things, and the last series of Stranger Things, I think it was. She became very popular again recently.
Yeah, they played a bit of it because it was that period that the Stranger Things were setting. Okay. Let's do an. I forget all the trivia questions. Okay, I think some are very, very easy, like this one. Apple CEO Steve Jobs was known for wearing what colour turtleneck? Do you remember?
Haven't a clue. No. Paid him absolutely no attention whatsoever, I'm afraid.
We have Nerd Alert and Spooky.
I thought they were beige, but maybe they're not.
Nah, Nerd Alert and Spooky got
Tartan. That would have been cool.
Straight up. It was black. Straight up. Very well known for his black turtlenecks. Okay. How many red stripes are there on the American flag?
Something like 13.
13, because it's the
13.
original number of colonies.
It is.
That's it, yeah.
It is. Spooky Bed Hair got it. Nerd Alert got it. Whoops. I've lost
Clive Wells didn't. And Dora went for the States.
Clive Wells got 7. How can Clive... No, I must be wrong. If Clive Wells got 7, I must be wrong. No, he got 7. Yes, there is 7 red flags. So there you go.
I thought it was 13.
No,
7. Well. Live and learn.
Yeah.
It'll be 13 stripes in all, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
I thought they alternated between red and white. Well, they did.
Yes, we're obviously counting all of them.
Yes. So yes, I believe that's 7. 7 is the correct answer. Clive Wells is correct. So there you go. Never lets us down. Never going to give us up.
Stop it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. Go back. Don't look at the answer. What 3-word phrase is written on Martin Luther's gravestone?
Trying to think of an alternative now.
Told you I was sick. No?
Up yours. Oh no.
Yes. Oh, did I get an answer out in the...
Yeah, don't shoot me.
Shoot me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might be...
Yes, any last requests? Yes, miss.
Yes, I already posted it up there. Free at last. That is correct. Free at last. Okay. This is an easy one. Or should be. Even I know this and I don't drink. What is Japanese sake made from?
You know, I don't think I've ever tried it. They're very
It's
quick
not
because
bad.
that's...
It's not
I'm
bad.
going
It's
rice.
got really good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going rice too.
Definitely rice. Have you ever seen it,
They
mate?
even do
Go on.
some that
Sorry,
has
go on,
gold
Paul.
foil floating in it.
Yes.
I've never understood the thing with putting gold foil in drinks and food. I mean, I know it goes through your body just in one end and out the other and nothing happens, but that's gold. What a waste.
And it doesn't taste of anything. It doesn't make the flavour any better.
No. It's just that had gold in it, yeah, and you've now just wasted some gold. Yeah, well done.
Yeah. And it's now made its way to the sewerage system.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Literally
seen...
shitting gold nuggets, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Exactly.
Have you ever seen it made? It's quite interesting. Look it up on YouTube, how they make sake, the traditional way. Yes. Anyway, what American beer has long been promoted as the king of beers? I didn't know this one.
Would it be a beer that's not actually originally American?
Probably.
If it's the one I'm thinking of.
Tell me.
Yes,
it's not
Nerdler,
Budweiser.
please tell me it's not Budweiser.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's not Budweiser.
It's not Duff, is it?
No, that would be if it was in Springfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was that. Just give me a couple of seconds. Anyone? We've got a Sudweiser. Maris, no. Look, it is Budweiser.
Oh, yes, so-
Yeah, unfortunately.
King of beers. It's not even a beer.
Yeah.
I mean, at least
Yes.
the proper Czech stuff is kind of drinkable.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's not a beer. It's a lager.
It could be worse, believe it or not.
That might be what just us over here in the UK differentiating between ale and lager. You don't call lager beer.
Okay. Sorry, what was it?
It's lager, isn't it? It's not beer.
Do Americans do beer? Yes, I've heard that is a big question.
It's always surprised me when you're watching American series, American films, anything. They walk into a bar and say, "Can I have a beer, please?"
Yeah.
And the bartender knows exactly which one they want. I mean, how does that work? I couldn't walk into an English pub and go, "Can I have a beer, please?" And he'd just go, "Oh yeah, he looks like an IPA man, right? There's a pint of IPA." Because I could go, "No, that's not what I wanted." Well, why didn't you fucking tell me then?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like a beer. Yes, which one? You've just walked into a pub that has all the beers from the microbreweries. We've got 40 of them.
I want to know how Larry knows what.
I've never understood.
I want to know how Larry knows what American beer is like. From the chat.
Oh, that's a brilliant joke. That's so old, that one.
There are pubs that I've been to where I could walk in, and between walking in the door and getting to the bar, my drink would have been served. But that's only because I go in there enough.
Exactly. Yes. Once you become a regular, they know what you want anyway.
Yes. Foster,
Clive.
Oh, Clive, you trying to get kicked off? Hang on. Can I put a timeout on Clive now? How do I do that? I don't know if I can. Oh yes, put user in timeout. Clive,
Don't they make Fosters by putting a barrel under a horse and get it to drink good beer?
Probably.
I thought it was oxen and rum.
Sorry, I had to time out Clive Wells. He's gone. It doesn't tell me how long you get. How long does he get? That's the first time I've ever timed anyone.
300 seconds. It's the
300 seconds, 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. There, look, you get 5 minutes without Clive. You might get some answers in.
How long are those sausages? 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yes. Let's do the name that song.
Oh, go on then.
Oh dear.
Fucking Spice Girls, isn't it?
Clive might not come back now. Lately, I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that could be.
Oh God, that rings a very vague, distant bell, but no, I can't place it. It does sound vaguely familiar.
Does fate? What if I tell you it is a song? Get in there by One Republic.
Who?
Oh God, this is going back a bit. Oh God, what's the song? I know the song, but I just can't think what it was bloody called. I mean, this is, was this late 80s, early 90s maybe? Was it a bit after that? I can't remember. I've got the tune in my head, but I just can't think what it's called.
Oh, now if we time out Dora, we'll have a new winner. One Republic. I don't know. I think it was. If I look back, I think it might have been Spooky and Nerd Alert were getting the answers there. Time them out. They can talk about Foster's, see what happens. You really want to upset it.
I just can't think what the track's called. I can hear it in my head. I've got the tune in my head, but can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
I refuse to Google it on the grounds of it's a quiz.
Okay, fair enough. The answer is Counting Stars. That's what we could be. We could be.
Yeah,
Counting Stars.
I didn't remember it was called that at all. I can hear the tune in my bloody head. I'd never got that.
Ooh. Dora wants to get timed out. Someone want to time Dora out?
I can't.
Nah.
I would, but I can't.
I'll spin it out enough that.
But you told her to.
You told her. I didn't tell her to. Who told her to do that? Zebulon. Should I time out Zebulon? Because he told we should time out Dora. It was Zebulon. No, it's okay. Enough timing out. One time out a night's enough. That's my first ever time out. So, okay. Next one. Up in the cub. Just broke up. I'm doing my own little thing. Decided to dip. But now you'd want a trip. Because another brother noticed me. There you go.
This smacks suspiciously of rap, and we don't do rap.
We don't do rap?
No, that's why I struggle so much with Red Hot Chili Peppers, because they do some very good tunes, but he keeps rapping in them. It's like, no, sing, boy. No, I ain't got a clue what that is.
I just need to explain this bit. If you really want to upset Aussies, try and tell them that Foster's is Australian for beer. No one, I mean absolutely no one in Australia drinks Foster's. Not at all.
And too many of them drink it over here. I mean, it is the Australian for piss.
Yeah. Yes, it is made in Australia, but yeah, no one over here drinks it.
No, what we drink over here isn't made in Australia.
No.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the other thing is, it's funny how everyone says in America it was, Foster's, it's the Australian for beer. Whereas at least over here it was Foster's, the Australian for lager.
Yeah.
Yes, they played the same ads, but yeah, they didn't dare play that ad over here. People would have stormed the Foster's factory. I think the Foster's factory is down in Melbourne, but yeah, no.
I think our one's up north, because just up from me is the town of Northampton, and there's a very big brewery there. So when you see these adverts for like Carlsberg or whatever, and they say, "Oh, so good, the Danes hate to see it leave," it doesn't leave. It's brewed over here. All of these so-called foreign beers that we drink over here are brewed over here. Yeah. They don't brew it in another country and then ship it over. That would be stupid.
No. Would be.
I know they used to brew Heineken in Romford.
Yeah. Oh, Bay once. That's why I didn't know it then.
Bay once did it. That's why.
Bay once
did it. That's why you're probably wondering.
Tantalus no hober. She'll never amount to anything.
Yes, Single Ladies. That was the song. Single Ladies.
None the wiser.
None the wiser. No one got it. That's okay. Hopefully Clive comes back and haven't upset him. See.
We should all be very proud of ourselves that we didn't know a Beyonce song.
Yes. Okay, which fashion designer was shot dead in the summer of 1997?
Oh, blimey. 97. It was topped off in 97.
Was that Versace?
It's
Versace.
Versace. It was Versace. It was Versace. That's why they made the film about him recently. Versace.
Oh, that's right. They did. I looked at that and thought, nah. That looked very interesting.
Oh, good to see you back, Clive. Don't worry, I won't do that again. Yes, but if you want to upset an Aussie, tell them that Australia, Foster's is Australian for beer. Yes, absolutely no one drinks it over here. It's that's why they ship it overseas. Cause, yeah. You haven't missed out on much. We've just started with the next run of trivia. You missed out on a couple of songs, Clive, so you're still right. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
I think call them that.
Clicking here.
It's not like he couldn't carry on listening. It's just that he couldn't type to us.
Yeah, I know. But other people have got in. As what type of beans are chickpeas also known as?
Don't know. Thought they were just chickpeas.
Garbanzo beans. Garbanzo. I always pronounce it as garbanzo beans. Pulses. Garbanzo beans, I believe is correct. Garbanzo beans. Yes, I've only ever heard of it on American television, but I didn't actually know that they were chickpeas till I saw this. So I thought they were two different things. But there you go, same things. Lentils. They probably are lentils. Lentil being a very broad. What is the difference? Okay, no. What is the difference between a chickpea and a garbanzo bean? Well, nothing according to what I just said. But yes, you're willing to give an answer. Oh, what's that face? No, I paid $300 for a garbanzo bean on his face. Okay.
Ah, yes.
Okay. I don't get it. You'll have to
I
explain
wouldn't,
it.
I wouldn't pay a $300 to do that, I have to admit, no. Or to get a chickpea on your face.
No. Okay, we have Italy and a Florence as answers to this one. Galileo was a citizen of which country?
Didn't think Florence was an individual country.
Don't know.
It was then. I'm pretty sure it
Oh, was it?
because they were all city-states because
Yeah,
it's before the
city-state.
formation. Italy as a country wasn't formed until sometime in the 1800s.
Oh, right.
There you go. Italy's the answer, though. You are probably right about Florence, but yes, Italy is what I've got here, so that gives the points to Spooky. Okay. Which country is the largest producer of vanilla?
No idea.
No idea. No. Which country, when you think of vanilla, do you suddenly think of? What's the most vanilla country in the world?
Oh, that's just too vanilla. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
The most vanilla country in the world is Madagascar. Believe it or not. Not Canada, like Spooky thought, but I thought Canada's. Canada, if you ask the beaver, yes. Okay. Who performs
Do they have a couple of lip syncing singers called Miller Vanilla?
Miller Vanilla.
Oh.
Who performs the character of Mark Zuckerberg in the movie The Social Network? I wouldn't have known this except it's written down, so that's okay. I know the movie. I just don't know the actor's name. I must admit the trouble is that he has more character than Mark Zuckerberg does. You ever watch Mark Zuckerberg talk? He's really bland.
Yes, a lot of them have. A lot of people have said he's actually some sort of android or robot because he just seems to lack all emotion. Oh, Mark Zuckerberg, that was. Oh God, I can picture the guy.
Yeah.
Something. Can't tell you his surname though. It's just.
No answers. Okay, it is Jesse Eisenberg.
That's it. Eisenberg, yes.
Eisenberg.
I could picture him, just couldn't remember his surname.
Yes, that was fine. I could picture him. Okay, let's get on to some songs. There must be some kind of way out of here, said the Joker to the thief.
To the thief. I've already got the riff in my head.
Now you just got to work out what the song's called.
Oh, that's an easy one.
Is it? Okay.
Easy
good.
peasy. Oh, yes.
We'll see if we get any. I'm giving a little bit of time to the Peanuts. Haven't got any answers out there yet. Stones?
No, it's not the Stones. No.
Not the Stones. That's because it is. Whoops. Go back. It's Bob Dylan. And you know, I was quick enough would have seen the answer, but yes. Along the Watchtower, yes, Dave.
Oh, along the Watchtower.
Yeah. Sympathy for the devil. Okay.
Sympathy for the devil. No.
Take this
Winnie the
pink
Pooh
ribbon.
song.
There you go. Okay. Take this pink ribbon off my eyes. I'm exposed, and it's no big surprise.
Vaguely. Sort of rings a bell, but don't know.
No doubt? I had lots of doubt, but apparently no doubt did it. Just a Girl.
What?
Just a Girl is correct.
Oh, yes. Yes. Well done, Dave Cannabis. Yeah,
Dave, got it.
God, I haven't heard that in a long time. I don't play that on Planet Rock.
Well done, Dave. Well picked up. I said I know some of them. Okay. Question number 7. Well, question 7 just means that's the 7th page in my PowerPoint presentation. But anyway.
Yeah.
What is the only fruit that has its seeds on the outside? Ooh, couple of answers already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A pseudo fruit.
Pseudo fruit. What's a pseudo fruit?
Yeah, what is a pseudo fruit?
Pseudo fruit. I'd have to look at it. Pine cones. No, pine cones have their seeds on the inside. That's why they open up, so the seeds can fall out. Just have pine trees that.
I wouldn't have called them fruit either.
Pine cones.
I
think they're fruit, are they? Don't know. I'd have to check.
I don't know.
You can't eat them. Well, I wouldn't eat them. Yeah.
They're very good at forecasting the weather.
Are they?
You've only got to hang one up outside, and if your pine cone's wet, that means it's raining.
Yes.
Well, they work brilliantly.
I thought that was.
That's not forecast. That's not forecasting the weather. Just as a point of fact, that's not forecasting the weather. That's telling you what the weather is.
Yeah.
Forecasting it needs to tell you in advance.
Yeah. Not pleasing some people.
No, it's not.
Well, you could do like if you're in Scotland, it's raining.
Well, that's because you're in Scotland.
Yeah, it's always raining there, isn't it?
As the song went, why does it always rain on me? Because you're Scottish.
So, according to Nerd Alert, it's actually little nuts on the outside of a strawberry. So, there you go.
Oh, right.
Aren't things like strawberries and not blueberries, raspberries and stuff like that conglomerates rather than single fruit?
Yeah, probably sounds right. Definitely the blackberries and raspberries, etc., would be. Yeah. Raspberries and all that sort of group. Now, let's move on. What is the only metal that is a liquid at normal atmospheric pressure? That's too easy. Okay. You can't get
yeah, just a tad. Blimey.
Okay, 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, no, you got it wrong. Mercury.
I thought it was unobtainium. It's unobtainium, isn't it?
Unobtainium.
Frederick Bullsolar.
Yeah. What was the only US president to resign? There's another easy one.
Well, there'll be no cover-up.
There'll be no cover-up because I will run away and then they can't find it out. Yes. No,
Run away! I will take inspiration from King Arthur and run away.
Run away!
Good old Nixon.
Run away. Okay, here you go. This is argumentative.
Oh, good grief.
Because I don't think he committed suicide, but anyway. In which city did Hitler commit suicide? Where was he when he was died?
That's a toughie.
Yeah. I think I was
going
to go back and fix these.
You can go and stand over what's left of his bunker. It's a car park.
Yes, I have heard that.
I mean,
yes.
I do know the rush.
It's not like. I'm going to say it's not like Berlin's one of them cities like London where there's the City of London and the City of Westminster.
Yeah, Berlin's Berlin. Yeah, it's actually. I mean, we did have a long weekend there many years ago. It's quite an impressive place, but it's got a very low water table, and they have problems with their sewage system. And there's lots of pipes that run around at high level above ground, and that's part of the drainage system. And it does tend to smell a bit. It certainly did when we was there. But it's quite a fascinating place. Of course, we went out to the Olympic Stadium. We thought we're going to have a look at that. Yeah, we'd picked the one weekend where they got the school kids athletic competition on. Just thousands of kids everywhere, and you couldn't actually get in there. So we caught the train all the way out there and sort of walked down to it and went, Yeah, that looks impressive, right? Come on then, let's go.
Yeah,
You could look around the outside of it, but you couldn't actually get in the bloody place. Oh well, never mind.
I did see the other Olympic Stadium in Germany before it opened.
Oh, that
Or
one?
Munich.
Munich? Yeah. Okay. You saw it before it opened?
I saw it before. I saw the outside of it before it opened. Yeah, because I saw it in July or August of 1972. And yes, I was only 8 years old, but you know.
Yes, I've only been to the Sydney Olympics. That was it, and I didn't even get to go in the main stadium because I didn't win tickets. Cause it was a lottery. You put in for what you wanted to get tickets for, and then they gave them out. The real frustrating thing was that there's all these empty seats because people who got all these free tickets who didn't go, but they didn't dish them out. That was very annoying. Anyway.
What was a bit odd was going to the museum they've got in Berlin, all to do with the wall. And they've got all these displays and things right from as the wall was going up, and then it gets towards more recent times, and they've got the microlight and cars that they were using, and I'm sure the microlight. I remember seeing this on the bloody news. He flew in and picked somebody up and flew back out. I remember watching this on the bloody news. You think, shit.
Yeah.
Am I getting old? It's a fascinating place to visit.
I imagine it would be. Anything to that. Everyone wants to know why I don't think Hitler killed himself. Is because I believe the Russian account, which is that he was killed by his second, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but at Hitler's bequest, and then his body was buried in a passageway, so in the idea that no one would find it because they knew what would happen. But when the Russians stormed it, actually found the body and they took the skull back to Moscow, and it was came out a long time after. Now there's argument whether it was actually really the skull and all that sort of stuff, so who knows. But I actually think that it made sense.
I mean, he most definitely is dead and has been since 1945. But I still think the way they depicted it in the film Downfall is probably pretty close to it, because he was paranoid. He did insist that they burn his body because he didn't want to happen what happened to Mussolini. Yeah, because he knew that if they got hold of his dead body, he would go on display. They'd be, look at him, he's dead, and and that's the last thing he wanted. Yeah. So yeah, they took him outside and tried to cremate him. But I'm sorry, tipping petrol on somebody doesn't do a very good job.
Yeah. So the relative story, he married Ava, and that might have been a day or so beforehand, and then he was either shot or killed himself, depending on who you take it on. But yes, he was not left there. He was supposedly buried, but the Russians found him, or found out where he was anyway, and took his skull back, but they didn't go otherwise. Didn't want any clones. Yes, because they knew about clones. Yeah. You're watching too many movies, Dora. Boys from Brazil, is that the one you're thinking of? In ancient Greek, throwing an apple at someone was a declaration of what?
You didn't like the apple?
He's still alive on the dark side of the moon. Well, that would be difficult. No, that would be very difficult.
Oh God, what was this? There was some films. What's it? Oh God, Iron Skies or something, was it?
Yeah. Okay.
Where there's this huge Nazi fortress on the dark side of the moon. Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Okay. We've moved on. We're moving on. In ancient Greek, throwing an apple at someone was a declaration of what? Love.
I have no idea.
I think Judy's got a better answer.
No.
Judy's answer makes more sense.
Declaration of take this, gravity.
Yes, it is the answer is the love. Throw an apple at somebody if you loved them. I didn't. Oh. That's why my teachers never got one. Name the song. Okay, here we go. Did I scare Clive. I haven't seen Clive for a while. Are you still out there, Clive? Did I upset you? I did see you come back. But when I'm driving in my car... He did say he had to go, so he may have had to go on. Yep. When I'm driving in my car and man came on the radio, he's telling me more and more about some useless information. He's a flat earther. Supposed to fire my imagination.
The title of this song has punctuation in it.
Sure it does.
It does. It's got brackets in it.
You are the apple of my eye, is now explained, yes. It is a song by anyone.
Oh, you bastard.
Yes.
Oh, right the eye. Oh.
It is a Stone song.
Yes,
and
it is indeed.
Spooky must have grew up with this in his head.
I grew up with this in my head. There you go. I told you got brackets in it because my parents were big Stones fans. We were a Stones household, not a Beatles household.
Yes, definitely. Satisfaction.
Oh, that's too easy as well.
Oh, in a day, we sweat it out on the streets of a runaway American dream. At night, we ride through mansions of glory in suicide machines. Any answers? I told you earlier it was the Stones. Come on, give me an answer.
Yeah, but you told us it was the Stones when it wasn't the Stones.
The Stones, no. This was the Stones.
Yes, Dave Cannabis is indeed Born to Lurk.
Born to Run, yes. Dave was onto it. Born to Run. It's Springsteen.
The Boss.
Okay. The Boss. Who wrote the songs for The Lion King?
Oh, probably bloody Elton John.
I write the songs that The Lion King sings. Phil Collins.
I write the songs. No, you don't.
I thought it was Phil Collins.
Oh, yeah.
What was that, Alan?
I was going to go with Phil Collins.
We've got a Phil Collins and we've got an Elton John. I think the trick is...
And we've got a Phil Collins and an Elton John.
I think the trick is that who wrote the music and who wrote the lyrics. But anyway, the answer is Elton John.
Yeah, I thought it was Elton John.
But I don't think he wrote the lyrics, but I'll have to check that.
You know what? I've never actually watched The Lion King.
Haven't you? I've seen it, obviously, as a cartoon and as the musical on stage.
No, I've not seen it in any way, shape or form whatsoever, and long may that maintain.
It's just Kimber.
For kids to see the stage show in.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac. Oh, Judy's answered for the next one. Fleetwood Mac. Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac. You got to take the kids to the stage show, Alan?
Yeah, I took my kids to see the stage show in London.
It's probably bigger than... I saw it in Sydney, but the London one might have been a little bit bigger. As I said, it's just Kimber, the White Lion. So... Retold. What US newspaper is nicknamed the Grey Lady? Any ideas? What Judy said. What did Judy say?
No.
Fleetwood Mac. We'll see. No ideas? Any ideas out in the peanuts?
This is where we need blue.
We need blue, but I think Blue's gone to sleep today. He's probably, after his 4.5, nearly 5 hours session, he's probably having a rest. Okay, nickname the Grey Lady is the New York Times. Okay, what is the real first name, as another easy one, of Marilyn Monroe? Or relatively easy one. Berta.
She's working in a factory at the time.
She was Berta. Norma Jean. Goodbye to Norma Jean. Yes.
Aye.
Which country has the most vending machines per capita? This is a tricky one. Japan.
That would have been my first guess, but
that was my first guess. Was Japan. But then I thought per capita.
But possibly Korea.
Possibly per capita. We've got lots of Japans out there, and the answer is Japan. I won't hold on to them. That's pretty easy. They have lots. It's a bit of a... Oh, Vatican. That's where you get your special favours from the vending machine at the Vatican.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What is the most populous city in the United States? As I said, it was a fairly easy quiz this week. Mean. What's me? Did you know?
I'm guessing it'd probably be the Big Apple.
Yeah, New York.
We had a few with New York. I'll give you the answer in a sec. Just on that Vatican thing and Noodle, I don't know if you're saying there's many. Do you know, just to give you that, I actually had to forge a Vatican favour. Because it was when I was in Goulburn and I was a draftsman, and they had sent it off for, there's a family I knew, and for one of their friends, I forget exactly what the paper was, gone through the whole effort, go through all the bishops, went off to Rome, got signed by the Pope, came back, had the wrong name on it. Oh, sorry, he had his name spelt wrong on it. So they asked if I could forge the paper and fix it so that the name was right. Yeah, so I did. But yes, it was, yes, forged paper. I didn't forge the signature, I just changed the name, but yes. One thing that drafters back in those days, we used to know how to fix our errors. You know, you make mistakes, you have to be able to rub them out and fix them without people noticing. Most popular city is New York City. So there you go. Okay, finish the lyrics. Okay, I think this might be the last page I've got ready. Finish the lyrics.
They're in Finnish?
They're in Finnish. No, they're not. You have to...
What's does say Finnish?
What's the next line? Don't worry about a thing.
Don't
worry about a thing.
No. No.
Don't worry about a
Sure
thing.
about that one.
Because everything's going to be all right. The Little Birds, Bob Marley.
Oh, Bob Marley. No woman, no tea.
The next one, probably 8:40. Oh, thunder only happens when it's raining. What's the next line?
This is ironic, given who it is.
Yeah. Players only play.
When it's...
Players only love you when they're playing.
Yes.
I think. It's a while since I've heard that one.
Yes, players only love you when they're playing. Fleetwood Mac.
That's it, Drew.
Had to put a
Fleetwood Mac at last. Yeah, we got Fleetwood Mac.
I had to put a Fleetwood Mac in there.
Well, of course.
Yeah. No idea, said Dora. Dora? You said Fleetwood Mac earlier. Oh, no, Judy said Fleetwood Mac. That's okay. So Judy should have got it. Okay. On a dark desert highway.
Cool wind in my hair. Warm smell of eucalyptus rising up through the air.
There we go.
I'll do the looks from start to finish if you want. Yeah. Just
There you go.
what an absolute fucking classic that is. You may check out any time you like, but you will never leave.
Yes, Hotel California. I do have a last page of trivia. Okay. Which fruit floats because 25% of its volume is air?
Coconut.
Noodle, it says coconut. It is apple.
Okay, so coconut must have more. Its volume is air then.
No, maybe not. It's volume. So
yeah.
Density.
Because they're empty in the middle, aren't they?
Yeah. Anyway, Apple is the answer.
Hmm.
What is the brightest star in the sky? Ugh. Okay, if you get this wrong,
The sun.
just if you get this
Oh,
wrong.
Dora.
Oh, Dora.
Oh.
Oh, Dora. Oh, Dave. Oh no, Dave.
Why so
why?
serious?
Serious. Oh dear. Do you want to have another go, Dora?
Venus isn't a star.
No, it's not. Fell for it. Fell for it. Yeah.
The bloody sun.
It is the sun, but they had Sirius, so I was going to lift that in. It is the sun is the brightest star in the sky. Sirius is the second brightest star in the sky. Eiffel Tower was originally intended for what city?
Oh. I thought it was always intended for Paris. It's just supposed to be temporary.
Yeah.
I mean, they put it
Because
up
he
for one
also
of these
designed-
fairs, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was
He
temporary.
also designed this big statue, some other city in sort of.
New York.
Oh.
It was Barcelona. Was where it was meant to go.
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
My dad always used to refer to it as the Piffle Tower.
Piffle Tower. I know had people who'd called it an Eiffel. E-Y-E, full. But yes.
Well, it's a fair size. It's quite impressive.
It is. Which of Britney's video... I'm sure you know this one because you're such a Britney fan. Which of Britney's videos does she appear as a stewardess? Do you really want to know that you know?
Brittany. I adore Brittany. The only one I know is the one that everybody knows. It's got nothing to do with the fact that she's an attractive blonde lady dressed up as a schoolgirl. Not at all. No, just that's not. That's an aside. Oh dear, Dora.
Oh dear, Dora.
Dora's gone for oops, I did it again.
And that's not Britney.
Yes, it was.
Oops, I did it again. Is it? I don't think it is it?
Yeah, that's Brittany. I'm sure that's Brittany.
I got to check now. I got to check. Just checking it up. I don't know.
I always thought that was one of hers.
It is too. Oh,
There's a point where there's no bloody escaping it. It just got played everywhere all the time, constantly.
What's the one Kylie did then? I can't remember. Don't remember. Okay. Yes, that was Britney. Shows you how much I know about these things. There we go. And the correct answer is Toxic, which was given out by Spooky earlier. I did see Spooky, so that is Britney. Kylie Minogue. I thought Kylie Minogue did it. Anyway. Carrots are a good source of which vitamin?
Don't know, can't remember.
I think they've got some D in it, haven't they?
Whatever makes your eyesight become an alternative to radar.
Well, that was the story. That's why they told the story. It was just to make people...
Yeah, to cover up the existence of radar fitted to night fighters. Cat's eyes, Cunningham.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I eat my carrots. It's got nothing to do with the radar. So I'm like, oh, shit, yeah, I wasn't supposed to mention that. Sorry.
Is that if you eat... Why you eat
that and carrot, one of the few things we had in surplus.
Exactly, yes. So please eat your carrots. Because we've actually got some.
And they used to get people to grow rabbits in the backyard too, didn't they? As a food
Well,
source.
in the first few years of the war, we didn't really have that much trouble with food supplies. The rationing got worse towards the end of the war and carried on for many years after the war. But certainly in the first few years, there wasn't too much of a problem because we had quite good stocks of everything.
Yeah.
There's just certain things that we didn't have a lot of, and they had to be bought overseas.
Wasn't it 58 by the time they actually finished all rationing in the UK after the war?
Something like that, yeah. It was certainly well into the 50s. I mean, actually, during the war, it wasn't that bad. It was worse afterwards. Oh, man.
Yeah. There we go. Anyway, the answer is vitamin A. Very good at vitamin A. There you go. Well, I think we did have some answers with A. We had a K. Why did we have a K? Dave gave an A early in the piece. Dora thinks it's B. Then we C. Then we D. Then we back to A for a nerd alert. Judy Bassett doubled down on the D. K. Better Carter.
Never seen a rabbit with glasses. Yes, it must be true. That's it.
This is true. I have, though, seen rabbit with glasses, but I've seen lots of things.
You might if you read some Beatrix Potter.
Yes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That's right. Oh, was that it? I think that might be it. The end.
That looks like it.
I have nothing else there. Oh, yeah, there you go. Well.
Oh, thank you very much. That was entertaining.
Yeah, I hope so. I do have.
Yeah, no, it was good.
As I was saying to Paul, I'm sort of aiming to go from about 9 to 12. About 3 hours isn't too bad. 3 to 4 hours. So we're coming up to 12. I've still got a couple of things, but just so you know.
Oh yeah, you must be, because it must be about 10 to 1 here. So.
Yeah. So if I get rid of that, I think I might have had something else queued up. I'm just checking. Didn't have something else queued up. I did have. Now we did the globe skepticism, didn't we? Transition. Switch over to there. Switch that back to there. I did that, didn't I? I talked about those. We talked about lettuce because of our friend. We talked about spherical axis. Okay, yes. I have to go back to my playlist. I do have a playlist over here. Simon Dan. We've got a Simon Dan. Let's put Simon Dan on. Okay, Simon Dan.
Brian Staveley is a self-proclaimed Mandela effect.
Ah, the Mandela effect. I never got the Mandela effect because I never thought that Mandela died. So I thought it was a bit weird when people start calling it the Mandela effect. They says, "Why call it Mandela effect?" Because everyone thought he died. And I said, "No, we didn't think he died. I thought they were having a big thing when he was getting out of jail. Why do you think he died?" Anyway, apparently.
Yeah, very strange that.
A lot of people thought he died in jail, which, like a lot of the Mandela effect stuff you say, but that's not true. Anyway, I'll play this.
Effect expert. You may remember him from the Tutankhamun Mandela effect video, which I did last year. Here's a quick reminder.
What do you remember King Tut's headdress looking like?
Oh,
well,
are we going to get to see this?
You're not sharing it in here. Oh.
Huh?
What happened there then?
I think Timbo might have.
Well, you can't hear me because I turned my mic off. Because I turned my mic off. That's why you can't hear me. And I'm talking to you and you're ignoring me. And I was thinking, well, that's pretty par for the course. Okay.
All right, let's try that one.
Let's try this one again. And I'll go back to the start even. I am sending it out. The funny thing with Dan, every time I pause him, it's always a shot like that. I don't know what it is, but I lost my cursor. There we go. Give me a cursor back. I'll start again. Okay. You should be able to hear him too. So.
Brian Staveley is a self-proclaimed Mandela effect expert. You may remember him from the Tutankhamun Mandela effect video, which I did last year. Here's a quick reminder.
What do you remember King Tut's headdress looking like?
Well, he has uncovered an absolutely shocking revelation. I myself have been Mandela affected.
Ooh. Please first.
Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a quick word from me about the sponsors of today's video, YouGov. YouGov is free to join and so easy to use to gain extra cash. And as a member, you'll earn points for giving your actual opinion that matters on short surveys and polls. In the description to take surveys.
Another question is,
Mandela effect has been Mandela affected. Now he's reviewing an old video of mine where I was debunking someone who believed in hollow earth. This one gets interesting. Let's take a look, shall we?
Another question is Google Earth. So right now, if you were to look at Google Earth, well, the ice caps wouldn't be there on the North Pole. There would be no ice cap. Just water. Just water. No ice cap. Okay?
Now yes, Google Earth does not include the Arctic ice cap in its images because of the nature of its changing location and size throughout the year. Now this is what that ice cap looks like in mid-winter, and this is what it looks like in mid-summer. So you can see the problem here.
Just like if you look at a globe right now, or a map. So it's like, well, what were they talking about? The ice cap melting up there. Completely gone. Now, people could say, oh, well, and we know this isn't the case. Well, they just reissued the maps and the globes. Go pull one out of your basement. There'll be no ice cap on the North Pole. But on top of that is Google Earth. A lot of people, when they research this stuff, you know, they use Google Earth to look at the land masses. Now, Google Earth is missing the ice cap.
Yes, as I've just explained. Wow, Brian likes to drive a point home, doesn't he?
Well, of course it is. So the question comes in, did Google Earth update with the reality? Right? Or did somebody go in later and manipulate Google Earth, which of course they can do.
Who is they? There's always a they. Let's get to the good stuff, shall we?
Let's have a look as Simon Dan goes to debunk Hollow Earth.
We're going to be focusing on his video called Make the Deserts Green Again, Google Earth / Hollow Earth. Oh my days, lockdown haircut, yuck. This is going to be very interesting. Away you go, buddy.
Welcome everyone to an Unlocking Fun in Google Earth. I think I have found the solution to global warming and the truth behind the Ice Age. Now, hear me out. I know this sounds weird.
You'd be surprised how much weird I've actually looked at. You'll be fine. Now this is still true today. Not much surprises me anymore.
And it's going to sound weirder. But the solution for global warming...
Here it comes, everyone.
...is to melt the ice caps.
So, obviously he said to melt the ice caps, plural. But there's a lot more here.
Yes, the ice caps, because it is common knowledge that there are 2 ice caps here on Earth. You don't need Google Earth to know that.
Let's continue.
This is precisely what we're trying to stop from happening. I mean, honestly, I'll be interested to hear his reasoning on this one.
Here. And here.
Back it up a second.
I'll be interested to hear his reasoning on this one.
He's looking up here for the ice cap, and he says here, and he scrolls down. I'll also show you that this is not the ice cap. This is Greenland. So if you take a look, you can see this is Greenland. Okay? Greenland, not the ice cap.
Yes, I think my Hollow Earth friend and I are both well aware of what Greenland is. You don't have to worry about that.
This is where the ice cap would be. Now I know you can say, Brian, well, this doesn't prove anything because Google could have came in here and deleted this out. So now there's no ice cap there.
It doesn't prove anything because it's never been there on Google Earth, as I stated earlier.
Let's continue to listen, though.
Here. And here. Now, again, hear me out. I'm not talking about going to the ice caps with blowtorches and melting the ice, because that could create havoc for all the ocean life.
Yeah, that's the only silly thing about that statement, isn't it? It'll play havoc with the ocean life. I wonder how many blowtorches it would take. Oh, I do make myself laugh.
And probably even make our planet a planet of mini storms, hurricanes, and tornadoes for the next, I don't know, century or so.
Because we get none of that already, do we? I love it how Brian just basically lets my comments go. You are basically agreeing with me, Brian. I know you are.
So, we don't want to melt the ice caps right away
Yes, we know there are two, Brian.
to fix global warming, but
Caps as in two of them, one on the top, one on the bottom. Now, a minute ago, you saw him looking up there, right? There was nothing there. There was no ice cap there. But he mentioned it. We're going to get back to that.
what we do need to do in order to fix global warming is plant more trees, specifically in places where nothing wants to grow.
There's a reason that nothing wants to grow there, buddy.
And we need to free up the ice caps, not just for global warming.
Look at this. We need to free up the ice caps. He has his cursor where the ice cap was. There's no ice on here.
You don't have to be a genius here to understand that he's talking about the Arctic ice cap. He knows it's not there on Google Earth, but he also knows that it does exist in real life.
He's going to go into an explanation about melting it with blowtorches and what it would do to the planet. Right? And the whole time, Sideman Dan, while breaking down this video, known to be a snide bastard and always, he's not going to miss the opportunity to say, hey, dude, what are you talking about? There is no ice cap at the North Pole. There hasn't been one in thousands of years.
Bit rude. But yeah, I didn't say that because, like him, I understood what he meant. I understood that the Arctic ice cap is not represented on the Google Earth maps.
Rather, Dan goes along with the whole thing, thinking there is an ice cap here, as does the guy doing the video. It gets into even more detail. Because when they made this video, the ice cap was here. They were looking at it. You can clearly tell by the dialogue here that they're looking at the North Pole ice cap that you can't see right here because it's gone off this video. And this video is almost 2 years old.
Yes, but it's my video. I remember talking about it. I remember that the Arctic ice cap has never been depicted on Google Earth. Unless my memory has been Mandela affected. Is that what you're saying, Brian?
It's from March of 2021, and it's going to be March of 2023 in a few months. It's almost 2 years old. Okay? When they made this video, they were looking at the ice caps. Let's have a listen more to the dialogue. He's even going to get into how they airbrushed out the entrance to the hollow earth that's on the ice cap here. And then he'll show you on the South Pole. This is literally just water right here.
He really thinks he's got something, doesn't he?
But so that we can finally access the entrances to Hollow Earth very easily.
And there it is. The Hollow Earth has finally crept in.
And of course we already know Google tried their best to cover up the Hollow Earth entrances. You can see the little circle right there where they tried to edit it out. There's a smaller circle at the top than it is at the bottom.
He doesn't mention nothing at all about how one of the ice caps is missing and we're just looking at water. He's talking about them editing out a spot on the ice cap up top, which he already referred to several times.
I'm bored.
70,000 subscriber mark. We're well on the way to that 500,000.
I'm bored. I think we got it. Yeah.
I noticed there's none of the sea ice around Antarctica either, is there?
No.
Mostly because Google don't include any aerial photographs for any area of sea that's more than about 1 kilometre off the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you zoom in, that
yes, because we. Go on.
Go on.
We all know the entrance to Hollow Earth is at the North Pole because it's only 10,000 feet underwater.
Yeah. Would make more sense if it was at the South Pole where there's actually land, but anyway.
Yes. Yes, there is land at the North Pole, but you have to go down at least 10,000 feet to find it because it's called the seabed.
Yes, although they reckon there's a big asteroid. I did see that. I haven't looked into it that much, but a big asteroid crater under the ice. How true that is. I got bored of Dan. I know it was a bit long-winded for saying nothing.
Yeah.
We got a few minutes left, so I was going to put on one more. You got a choice between a creaky blinder about long-haul flights, or I can put on an Anton. And Anton's got things like strange new object may explain the early galaxies. Or actually, I was going to put this one on the other week. Where was it? What happened to the Chinese rover? That was fun. Okay, what would we prefer, creaky or an Anton?
We don't often play creaky, so let's have a creaky.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't see a lot of creaky, do we?
Anton's interesting, but a bit dry. Okay, where are we? Okay, let's put on this. I'll drag him over there. Drop him in. So this one is. Let's make him big.
And I wanted to talk to you today about why planes don't fly across the Pacific Ocean.
They do! Yeah, the air traffic in the Southern Hemisphere is a bit thinner, but LATAM operates a non-stop flight between Santiago, Chile and Auckland, New Zealand. I don't know what to do now. First few words out of his mouth and I've already shown that he's wrong. Well, lick my face and call me an ice cream. This has never happened before. Not that I've not been able to show somebody is wrong before. I do that all the time. Just not usually this quickly. Reminds me of that time I turned up a day early to my premature ejaculators meeting. Please subscribe.
And the big question is why planes don't fly over the Pacific Ocean. It really is Brightside's attempt to explain the flat Earth in a spherical form.
Seems a bit odd then that they would title it Why Planes Don't Fly Over the Pacific Ocean. Oh yeah, and a quick shout out to Andy H who clicked the super thanks button on the last video. Thank you, pal. Any support anyone can give me is thoroughly appreciated.
What they do is they actually try to explain away why planes detour.
What do you mean? As far as I'm aware, a plane's route is just meant to get it from one point to another. And speaking from very recent experience, that's exactly what they do.
And I don't know if you know that, but there are planes, the plane routes don't actually do what they seem like they should be doing.
Now, it is more common for a curved route over land to be faster than a straight path over water. For flights from the United States to Japan, for instance, a curving route across Canada and Alaska would provide the shortest travel time and the greatest fuel efficiency. I feel like I'm helping a small child learn something new here. This stuff is not hard to find for yourselves.
And what he was referring to is that he took a flight, I think from the U.S. to Tokyo, and he was trying to figure out why did they actually go across Canada.
Well, one, I just told you why, and B, if a plane took a straight path across the Pacific and needed to land for some sort of emergency, where are they going to land? In the middle of the Pacific Ocean? Again, this just all comes down to common sense when you bother to find out for yourself, doesn't it?
But he said that there were reasons why the planes don't do that, and one of the reasons he gave was that he was talking about that, planes would not like to crash in oceans, so they would fly in a direction that would give them the ability to be able to make stops along the point.
There we go. See? You can do it when you want to. That's exactly the reason, as I just said. But going from past experience, I'm sure you will add your own silly reasons as to why they don't fly in a straight line. So go on then, let's hear it.
You know, so that sounded pretty reasonable, but you know, it just doesn't jive. It doesn't add up.
Really? Why not? I mean, you just gave the right explanation for the particular flight path you're talking about. So why doesn't it jive? Is it because you can see that if you said the flights did jive, then you would, by default, be admitting that you realize Earth is a globe? Is it that? Is it?
Really, what adds up is the flat Earth, right?
Wrong.
The flat Earth adds up. Not because I just want it to add up.
Is that what you tell yourself? Of course you want the Earth to be flat, and that's why you and every other flat earther does all their flat Earth research here on YouTube. And when I say research, I mean they watch videos from other creators who also already believe that the Earth is flat. So in reality, which I know is a tricky concept for flat earthers to grasp, all you're doing is confirming what you've already decided to be the truth when it comes to the shape of the Earth. If only there was a more sciencey sounding way of describing that sort of behavior. Oh wait, there is. It's confirmation bias.
But because it makes the most sense, because, you know, you just look at this here. Well, you can see why now on the flat Earth, and I'm going to pulling up the flat Earth map.
No, you're not. And shall I tell you why? Because there is no flat Earth map, you window licker. How can I be so sure? Well, it's really quite simple. Much like Vincent here. It's because the Earth isn't flat, is it?
You can see right here why the plane might be going in the direction that it's going. So, you know, obviously the land masses are right there together, and so we don't need to travel all over the Pacific Ocean.
I've heard lots of people mistakenly say Pacific instead of specific, but never the other way around, unless of course what he meant was that he is being specific about the Pacific.
But anyway, I just want to show you though that there are no flights that actually travel across the southern hemisphere.
Few flights. There are very few flights that travel in the southern hemisphere. And if you just look at the map you have on screen now, you should easily be able to see why that might be. And no, it's not because the Earth is flat.
You know, going directly across the southern hemisphere, they always go along the land. They don't go across the southern hemisphere. So this is something you need to know. Now in the northern hemisphere, they're flying back and forth here, but in the southern hemisphere,
not gonna look at the obvious then? No? No, I didn't think so. To begin with, the southern hemisphere possesses a significantly lower portion of the Earth's land area and inhabitants in comparison to the northern hemisphere. And there are also practical impediments to consider. While it's accurate that modern long-distance aeroplanes are capable of traveling these immense oceans without the need for refueling, there's additional factors to take into account, like being able to land in an emergency, which is always going to be very handy.
They generally don't fly. You can't find a flight to go from South America across to Africa.
But how exactly does that show us that the Earth is flat? As usual, you're being a little bit selective with the information you either have or don't have. I'm still trying to figure that out.
So the reason is because you just the Earth is not a globe.
Solid logic. There are no direct flights from Chile to South Africa because the Earth is not a globe. So it's not maybe because there just isn't any demand, or that airlines, although having planes capable of making these trips, can't because the aviation authorities won't allow them to make flights where they can't take emergency measures if needed. It's none of those. It's because the Earth isn't a globe.
And if you used Earth, that's what it is. He used Google Earth and he found some huge problems with actually taking the little marker and marking from Africa all the way to New Zealand.
A flat earthers never heard the saying, you can't have your cake and eat it. You do know that Google Earth is built using the globe, don't you? So why the hell do we see so many flat earthers trying to use Google Earth to prove that the Earth isn't a globe? It completely baffles me. You can't say on one hand that Google Earth isn't accurate because Earth, and then in the next breath say, ooh, look, the measurements on Google Earth don't work in our favor, so it isn't a true representation of Earth.
So, yeah, there just are no non-stop flights. That's the point that I'm making.
Are we still saying non-stop flights to South Africa, or are we moving on?
Going across the southern hemisphere.
Well, prepare to be shocked. If I wanted to, I could book this flight literally now this second. Chile direct flight to Auckland. So you were saying something about these flights aren't available, Vincent?
But this guy here, he does his best though in the Breitbart video. Why planes don't fly over the Pacific. Well, they do.
But you just spent the entire video saying they don't because it doesn't jive. Why the sudden turnaround?
I went from California to Hawaii.
Yeah, that's definitely over the Pacific. Granted, it's the North Pacific, but still, you cannot spend an entire video saying that something doesn't happen only to later claim that it does. Unless, of course, you're being disingenuous.
But really, I didn't know where I was. I was just in the plane going the direction that the plane was going.
Lamau? How does Lamau? Oh. I was meant to laugh there. You've got to love a flat earther, haven't you? Ah, yes, I know I said you can't fly over the Pacific, but I did. Or at least that's what they told me. Grow up, you clown. Either you did or you didn't.
But really, I don't think anyone knows where they are.
Well, you clearly don't. First we can't, then we can. I doubt you can remember who you are, let alone where you are. And if I had to guess, even if you did know where you were, you still wouldn't be happy, because no matter where you turned out to be, you would still be on a globe Earth.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that the plane does fly over the Pacific Ocean, but they don't fly
over the Pacific Ocean. They just want you to think you flew over the Pacific Ocean, all whilst trying to convince you that you did fly or something. I'm so confused by this guy.
For long distances, like what we might think, and they don't fly non-stop over the southern hemisphere.
Yes, they do.
And that's basically it, when it comes down to it. There's a huge problem of trying to hide the flat earth when it comes down to plane flights.
One thing flat earthers always seem to say is that there is a huge problem with a certain thing. But they never explain why it's a problem. Or if they do it really badly. Now, from my side of the flat earth fence, the only problem I can see with these flights over the Pacific Ocean is that they all show just how idiotic it is to think that the earth is flat. So yeah, thanks for watching everybody, and don't forget, if you come across a video you would like to see me react to, then you can just email me, videosuggestion@creakyblinder.com. and I'll take a gander at it. If you made it this far into the video, then I would love you to hit the like button. It would be thoroughly appreciated. And I'll see you all soon in the next video or something, whatever. Nobody actually cares today. Love you, bye.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe. By order of the Creaky Blinder.
There you go. Oh,
there you go.
Switch view to what done to them. Oh, back to us. I can stop sharing because there's nothing to see. Stop
Well,
sharing. So that's it. There you go. Oh, Blue's turned up. Hello, Blue.
Hello.
I thought you'd be asleep after nearly 5 hours of video streaming. We did play a little bit of your...
That was pretty amusing. That was pretty amusing. That guy's own graphic, if you paid attention, had 2 aircraft leaving Australia, probably 500 or 600 miles off the east coast, headed towards South America.
Yes. He didn't have the routes. He just had planes.
His own freaking graphic.
He just had where planes were at that point, not where they were going to. I also noticed there was one plane coming into New Zealand, and there was one heading off from Chile.
Oh yeah, they were coming in from out in the middle of the Pacific somewhere and leaving Australia, going towards South America.
Yes,
imagine that.
And also, he was taking off from. That wasn't him. That was the other one. Taking off from the zoo in Pretoria. What was it? Yeah, that town. Can't think of it. Johannesburg. That was what. I don't know if you noticed when they zoomed in, they were taking off from Johannesburg Zoo. Not the airport.
That might raise some eyebrows.
Yeah, not that it makes a lot of difference, but it's just yeah.
And trigger the animal control people.
Yes.
I see we have a Gary bot in the chat.
Do we?
Yeah.
Gary's from my channel. Where's Gary bot?
Telling us we've all got a mental disorder.
Where's Gary bot?
We know Gary has a mental disorder. There's nothing new about that.
It says we have globyism. God help us. Is a mental disorder. Well, I'm happy to say I'm not a globy.
Globyism. No.
Yeah.
I don't have my bees glow. Sorry, they don't glow.
No. Yeah. Well, characterized by normally greater than average IQ, an acuity of common sense, and a few other features that I'm not really ashamed of, Gary. You, on the other hand, sir, are a window-licking shithead.
Yes. I want Gary to find out how wide Australia is and tell me how that works. Anyway, we're about to head up. This is coming to the end of my show, I'm afraid. So sorry I didn't catch you earlier, Blue. I had hoped.
That's okay.
We did, but yes, we did run a little bit through your video. So I did recommend that people watch it themselves. I wasn't going to play 4 hours, 40 minutes worth of video, I'm afraid, on the show.
I would never play that again if I were you. That was incredibly boring, honestly.
Yes.
Just listening to Witsit constantly deny. Well, actually, just searching desperately for any piece of trivia that he could come up with that you can't prove, right? Whereas he wants to see field notes from 150 years ago, right? So,
yes.
Where are we supposed to get those? Oh,
yes.
God.
And there's a suggestion that they somehow reverse engineered everything. It's sort of like, well, where's your evidence of that? Work the calculations out. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be very tricky to reverse engineer those calcs. Even the fact that the 39th parallel is in a great circle.
I told him that nowhere in that report does it ever state what type of writing utensil they used when they were making their field notes. They don't even talk about that.
No.
I have no idea.
Nope.
Was it a pencil or a quill pen?
No, and there'll be vast numbers of them.
And I'll bet you nowhere in there do they have the menu for the what those guys were eating on the days they made those observations. I'll bet that's not there.
No, that's right. Yes. Anyway, as I said, I'm coming to an end at 20 past 12 here. Time for work tomorrow. So thanks for everyone who's turned up. Thanks for all those out in the peanuts. We will convene again next Saturday at about, let's say 9-ish Australian Eastern time, which is...
It's not quite Easter yet, Timbo.
No.
We've got a little way to go.
There are chocolate eggs in the shops, though. I hate to tell you.
Oh, yeah, well, it is
been there for months.
Away, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Australian Eastern time.
They might have just got Christmas out of the way.
We've been eating hot cross buns for about 2 months now, Timbo.
Oh yes, I've got hot cross buns. We've got Costco ones on the bench here because my wife likes the Costco hot cross buns, and you also get like I don't know how many dozen you get in a box, quite a few.
Yeah.
And yes, so Australian East time. So make sure you don't look up banana time, which is Queensland time. It is standard Eastern time. It's not the Queensland time, which is an hour different. Anyway. Thanks, guys, and I'll end the stream, and we'll catch you next, guys.